Well, I am Matt.
Sorry, you were muted there for a second.
Son of a bitch! Did you hear any of that?
All I heard was Matt because I realized and I unmuted you. But yeah. So anyway,
hi, welcome to the amenity where do the things with the four people I met.
And I'm Tommy. Welcome in tonight. Having some more video reacting fun. I think, maybe, perhaps.
I expect to.
That's good. I'm glad you expect that because for tonight's videos, I actually did watch them beforehand, but Matt did not. So I'm a little skeptical with how much fun he's going to have with them, but I guess
I'm going to make fun out of it. I'm going to make hay. That's probably not the right use of that saying.
I was going to say, is that what that means?
Probably.
I know but the thing is, now that I think of it, I don't know if I actually could tell you what it really means. So you could be right. I have no idea. Let us know in the chat if you know what that actually means, or if you just want to humor Matt and say that's it. That's cool.
That'd be good too. Or you could lie and say it means something because I don't know.
Ooh. Or you could just say it literally means just make hay, like for like horses and stuff. But
well, that's an autistic idiom if I ever heard one.
Speaking of neurodivergent related things, you probably notice like I tend to like kind of fiddle with the facial hair a lot here on the show. I may be doing it a little more this evening because I'm just, especially in the mustache, it's needing a trim. I just keep having, there's all these like individual hairs that are just like wanting to just like fucking do their own thing and like fly off. So I'm like seeing it like right like in my periphery and it's like bugging the hell out of me. So plus it also just feels nice because the beard balm I put in it this evening. It smells like bourbon too. So it's giving me. Yeah, so it's giving me like positive and negative sensory feedback right now. So I don't really know what to do with it. So I was trying to think of a speaking of with that, but I have no connection there. What are you drinking tonight, Matt?
Well, I'm avoiding the gluten right now. For reasons. So this is 1911 hard cider honey pear, 6.9% alcohol, 16 ounces from New York. God, I hate it now. Look at this little thing on there. It says, "Oh, hey there, honey pear." Okay.
All right. So, but that sounds good.
Jerks. They gotta go and ruin the experience.
Well, at least you have a glass you can pour. There you go. So you can just ignore the can, enjoy the glass.
Well, I will.
So, good.
Make it face the corner.
Yeah, it knows what it did. So tonight I'm continuing the theme of Oktoberfest beers in August because that's awesome. But different one tonight. This from Great Lakes. This one just recently got released. It's our local grocery stores. So
I didn't know they had an Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah, they've had it for several years now. Really good. A little stronger in the ABV than the other ones. This one's 6.5, where most of the rest are usually like closer to 5. So I will probably be only having 2 of these tonight. So everyone make sure I behave. But I will not be having them in the giant double ceramic stein because just back to the regular glass tonight. You also might notice the Mad Tree. This is a Cincinnati brewery, one of our favorites here. But for those who know, like Great Lakes is a Cleveland brewery. So everyone's like, Tommy, why are you drinking one kind of beer in another brewery's glass? Well, it's because it's from Cleveland and I'm in Cincinnati, so I need something Cincinnati to kind of surround it. And, there's a Cleveland sucks joke in here somewhere. I'm just having trouble getting to it. So,
yeah, Cleveland knows what it did.
Yeah, just like the can. But yeah, also
about their football team. That's what happened.
So, but yeah, also in the smaller glasses, I typically do like to have the larger mug for my double Oktoberfest, but my right hand's been kind of sore lately, and no, not because of that, because that's what I use my left hand for. But no,
Mm.
just yeah, I think just getting old, and I think I like leaned on it wrong or something when I was sitting on the couch because
Oh yeah.
as cushy as my couch generally is, the armrests are deceptively not. They're like, especially like on the corners, they're like really ridged. So I think I was like up against it. And it's like, oh, that's gonna hurt for days now. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Like, any updates? How you doing on your end? Or
um, trying to get back in the swing with work.
oh yeah.
Haven't. um,
Well, hey, it's a process. It's a process.
it is. Also, I do not have like the stamina anymore. Like I used to be able to like be on my feet for like 6 hours, like sweating all day, and then like up and down ladder, and then like I'd be like tired at the end of the day, but not like wrecked. And now I would be in wrecked territory. I'm like, oh, I need to work a lot because we need money, and I'm like I can't work a lot because then I have to recover.
Right.
So I got to ease into it, and that also sucks to just get tired doing something that didn't used to make you tired.
Yeah.
Or at least like when I first started doing it, it did a couple years ago, but then it got a lot easier, and now it's hard again. That pisses me off.
Yeah. So now you got to work back up. Yeah. I mean, this is obviously a completely different situation. Like, but one of the, I think for me, it's just getting old, and I'm generally not very active. So I think if I mean, I would probably, in my current shape, I may be actually doing worse than you after that long at this point. But yeah, things I've noticed, like in getting older, with like, because we usually go to like at least one like Reds baseball game every year, and we usually sit up at the top of the stadium because that's where the tickets are cheaper. So it's a lot of steps to get up there. I noticed this year, getting to our seats, I was a lot more winded.
Also, aren't they tiny ass steps too?
Yeah, and it's like, but it's like they're tiny, but also really steep.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And
yeah.
So you're getting a little winded, but also you're going up in elevation. You're like, shit, if I slip, I'm not young enough to catch myself anymore.
Yep. And yeah, and not handsome enough that anyone below me is going to really want to catch me, probably. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
you're like, my only hope is I get clipped by one of those short railings that just repeats as you go up.
Yeah. As I'm tumbling, maybe like fall like in between it, and then I just, shatter an entire side of my rib cage instead.
Maybe a kidney will catch one and help me.
Oh man.
Oh, we can hope.
Yeah. Also, speaking of sensory issues, I forgot to swap my earbuds out for the one that doesn't hurt when I keep it in. So there. Now I'm ready for a show. Thank you, Matt. All right. So tonight. Real quick, I guess. Yeah. Like, I guess now my brain's thinking, because you just gave a little personal update. Now I'm like, do I have anything to update people about? It's like, I don't think so. I don't know. If anyone has any questions for me.
No news is good news.
Yeah. If anyone can jog my memory, if you want to let me know in the chat. But also, in the chat, let us know what you're drinking tonight.
I'll jog them too hard. Yeah, Andre the Giant. I think it's that scene where he jogs his memory too hard. I think I jogged him too hard. That's probably not right. I'm doing that dad thing where I quote like favorite movies the wrong way.
It's a way of life, man. So
but as you prefer.
He's mostly not alive.
That was an ad-libbed moment, by the way. All that stuff with Miracle
Oh.
Max and his wife in there. That was all ad lib, and apparently there was like a whole day of ad libs recorded that I hope didn't get destroyed, but they probably did.
Yeah, I haven't watched that movie in forever.
Carrie Yules, is that his name?
Gary, I think it's.
Is it?
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm not sure I know how to actually pronounce it.
Gary, the lead actor. They had to swap
Ellis, maybe? Yeah.
Something like that. They had to switch him out for a dummy because he couldn't stop laughing and his chest just kept heaving with laughter in the shot. And they had to like banish certain crew from the shot, like set up their stuff and just leave because they couldn't help laugh. And the director was laughing so hard he had to leave for a bit. It's like, that sounds amazing.
That's good stuff. But yeah, but speaking of like movie quotes, so at least making sure we're doing it accurately, I did over the weekend. I found a couple more clips that we can maybe see how we can work in. First one.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Feeling as we're watching more like apologist videos, that one may come in a lot more handy, just like this old classic.
You fucking people.
So,
still like that.
But if the guys in the videos we're watching tonight are really good, meaning really awful, I have a special one. I won't play the whole thing because it's a little longer, but some of you may know what I'm talking about. It's from a little movie called Billy Madison. So, I award you no points. So that whole spiel. All right. So the two videos tonight we're watching. The first one will be Mr. B, Red Pen Logic, who we've watched on here before. Him trying to explain the problem of evil using coffee. It's a shorter, like 3-minute video where he gives a bit more of a kind of broad overview, or like goes through like various Christian apologetic answers or theodicies, as it were. But yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack with his explanations. But then for the second video, this one will probably take us a little longer to get through. It's more like, 8 minutes. So Cameron Bertuzzi from Capturing Christianity explaining.
Why does that?
What's that?
Why does it have to be captured?
That is a good question, but
does he have like an old mattress on the floor in his basement you're not supposed to ask questions about?
Saving room for the Holy Spirit. But he's going to attempt to answer the question, why didn't God just create everyone in heaven? So
I bet he has a dumb answer.
Oh, he has,
because
not just a dumb answer, several.
Oh yeah, well you gotta pad out for that nearly 10 minutes. The algorithm loves.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he takes a legitimate question and then say how dumb it is, right? But then spend like all that time trying to disprove it. If it's dumb, it should be fast and it should be short and quick. Like,
yeah.
If it's absurd, why are you spending so much time on it, Cameron?
Yeah, because that's actually an argument that he has used against other people reacting to his videos who take a long time, like we probably will. He's like, man, if it's so simple to refute, it shouldn't take you that long. It's like,
well okay, that's the problem with apologetic stuff, is because it's a stupid thing to say, but to prove it wrong, you have to take a while. Because
there's a certain like someone's law or something regarding that. Basically, the principle being like it takes a lot more time to correct a statement than it does to just say it. Like, think, for example, like it just takes you a couple seconds to say the earth is flat. Like, how long does it actually take you to explain why that's not true? But
it takes longer to fix something than destroy it.
Yeah, or longer to clean up a mess than it does to make it. Yep. So, I mean,
shit in the bed only takes a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you take your time. Yeah. Try to savor it.
Pooping in the woods, though.
Mm,
Do recommend that.
yeah. I also recommend savoring that.
I don't like
Not that way though.
I don't like the root word savory and poop. And
Yeah, that was a misstep
yeah,
on my part there. So
that savory wood shit.
So let's say we segue out of this train wreck and into another one, won't you?
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, over there this time. Oh, and
Speaking
also
of not feeling safe. he, I don't know. To me, I feel threatened. Something's threatening about him.
right.
I think it's like when he smiles, his eyes are not.
That's one way to put it. Yeah,
His eyes are having a different emotion.
And, yeah, not being explicit with what it is. All right. But also, you may notice in the background here, like behind the video and us, it's not just solid black.
Oh yeah.
I finally remembered to put a thing in there. So yeah, you may recognize it from as the background of the thumbnails that Matt has started to make for our episodes on YouTube. So again, for those following on Facebook and Twitch, if you're not following us on YouTube, you're missing out on these wonderful thumbnails with background. Also, I love. I mean, I love all the thumbnails, but especially the one, like,
As you should.
especially the one for last week, but I thought was particularly fantastic. Except my head kind of came out looking a little weird, but
yeah, I tried. I couldn't fix it because the software said that it said that part of your head wasn't in the picture. I tried to like grab it, but because it's not super fancy photo software, it's just Canva. I couldn't lasso that shit.
Yeah, and it could be because like with the lighting and whatever in my room here, like my head maybe was just a little too close to the color of my wall. So we'll see if this helps mitigate that, but I like didn't shave, so I mean I don't know if you can tell. There's at least a little bit of stubble on there that might offer like a little bit more of an outline. So, yep. All right.
I've only done that once though, so the rest of the time it's been fine.
Yeah, but I did definitely shave right before last week's episode, so I don't know if it's been a while since I've done that. So maybe that was it.
Glad we talked about this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure, everyone watching is glad we are too. But hey, if none of y'all are talking in the chat, so that means we have to be the ones providing all the random remarks and whatnot. It's like we have to be our own peanut gallery. This is exhausting, folks. Come on. Chime in. All right. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
For Mr. B of Red Pen Logic explaining the 5 reasons why God allows evil in 3 minutes.
I don't believe those are his hats, by the way. Every time he's wearing a hat, I'm like,
yeah,
it's that "Hey, fellow kids" vibe.
Oh yes, absolutely. So let's see some of that.
This is one of the most difficult challenges to belief in God. If God is all good and all powerful, then why is there evil and suffering in the world? Now, this isn't just an academic challenge. It's deeply personal, especially for those of us who have experienced evil and suffering. Now, I don't have any illusions that I'm going to
like his hat.
Answer the problem of evil in this short video. However, I want to highlight some of the ways that Christians have responded. These are typically called Theodicy.
So,
what's this voice he's doing? I don't.
Yeah,
I don't care for it.
Yeah, something about his personality typically seems a little really, but but yeah, it's well here now I'm starting the backing up thing again. So there's something, the way he said things made me think things. So let's hear that again.
I don't have any illusions that I'm going to answer the problem of evil in this short video. However, I want to highlight some of the ways that Christians have responded. These are.
So yeah, the whole, like, I know we were talking about this earlier, how like certain concepts, like should it take you a long time to explain it? Should it be a quick? And I think that's kind of part of the problem. Like, you'd think if the Bible was as clear as a lot of Christians try to make it seem like it is,
Yeah.
like something like just why does God allow evil? Like that should, like, I don't know. To me, that seems like that should be a pretty clear part of the whole message and religion and everything. But then the fact that he's like, I'm not going to answer, but here's how some Christians try to explain it, which again is like, oh, so this again without saying like, yeah, we don't actually have an answer, so or we don't have an answer that we know actually like is the solid definitive response to this. So I'm just going to let you know what a bunch of other people think. It's like,
well, that makes him seem smarter than them. If you can categorize somebody else's stuff,
yeah,
I don't know,
or at least smarter than you doubting atheists who actually think the problem of evil is a problem. He's like, look, that's something I get a lot
I
about.
clearly explained if you combine these 15 verses
that have nothing to do with each other. But if you combine these 15 verses and get 30 different answers. But that's a response I get from a lot of Christians, whether it's like a problem of evil or like so many other things that I'll bring up, and they'll say like, dude, like theologians and apologists and like Christians like throughout the century, like we've already dealt with this. You're acting like it's some new problem. It's like, no, I don't think it's a new problem. And I know you've tried to answer it. What I'm saying is I don't find any of your answers actually satisfactory. So I think
the answer is easy. Problem of evil. Well, God must not be fully good if God exists.
Yeah. Yeah, really, that is
good and evil.
Yeah, that is the simplest answer.
Also, there's actually a Bible verse for that too. Like there is a Bible verse for that where God talks about how he created good and he created evil.
Yeah, it's in Isaiah. I don't remember the exact reference.
Yeah,
where he's like, I form the light, create the dark. He literally says, I create evil. And it depends on your translation, at least in English. Some of them say I create calamity, but calamity like is a category of evil, especially vis-a-vis fancy term, the problem of evil. That's one of the issues that people usually bring up.
Chaos and chaos
calamities.
Leviathan and evil and
so, but it's part of what the problem of evil puts forth as something that needs to be explained. But then no matter how you translate it, you have Isaiah saying that God literally just created it. So, I mean, that's really their easiest answer, but obviously a lot of them don't want to go with that one.
Super inconvenient.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're like a hardcore Calvinist or something, and they're like, yeah, God caused it. What are you going to do about it? Like, so, all right. So, but let's hear the way different Christians answer this problem.
Typically called Theodicies. They're reasons why God might allow bad stuff to happen. For example,
keyword might. That might is going to do a lot of heavy lifting. So
yeah, don't quote him on any of this, folks.
But here's an example of something to not quote him on, I guess.
We might talk about the fall. The world isn't the way God originally made it. Human beings were placed into the Garden of Eden, and it was good. But they disobeyed. They brought sin into the world. And that act of sin has consequences. The Apostle Paul says that the whole creation has been.
So this explanation
portrayed so relaxing, by the way.
Right? And also that's another thing, like this music in the background is like, is this really the music for this kind of conversation? Like, am I just that autistic that I don't get it? Or is it real? Or is that really kind of an odd choice?
If you're a Christian and you're watching this just so you can get that thought back into a circle and, feel calm about everything, then yes, this is your deal.
True. But yeah. All right. So let's back up again. What
why does he sound like a high school girl trying to explain shit to me?
What's that?
So why does he sound like a high school girl trying to explain shit to me? It was called the fall. It's like,
well, maybe he's trying to like.
And he does this little like side to side like sass thing when he talks.
So we're
like, dude.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to eschew the whole like mansplaining accusation.
Maybe.
But so this is interesting. I was wondering where everyone was. Spooky says we're chatting away on the YouTube side chat, but you're not seeing it for some reason. Yeah, I am not. Yeah, I am not seeing anything showing up on our end. This is literally the first chat I'm seeing. So, I know. I may just have to pull it up on my phone. So yeah,
I did notice YouTube isn't doing captions for our live streams, which could mean that it's probably things we're saying they don't want people to be able to read.
Like no one needs to see this. Yeah. All right, but let's. All right. Oh yeah, man. I'm seeing all your chats now, but let's see. Yeah, we got BS Lewis here and Spooky Bed here, at least on the YouTube side.
What a weird problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah, production value level up. That's right, BS. Oh, so but BS has a question for you, Matt. I'm assuming that's who he's talking about. He says, has Moonbeam tried waving solar charged crystals around him to transfer energy to himself?
No, that's garbage.
Good enough. Yeah, BS says, I got 99 problems and evil ain't one. Witty. Spooky says, Tommy Bed here. See what you did there. Yeah. Oh, and we can't see the chat. Production fail. Hey, it's not us. It's
our
Restream
software.
or YouTube or something. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll try to keep an eye on the chat here on my phone in front of me here, but
we'd have to end the stream to like redo anything on our end.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
not
feel
happening.
like it. Yeah. So BS says here, the problem of evil is such a small deal that Christian theology made a whole category called Theodicies to address it. Right? So.
Yep.
But yes.
Almost
BS,
like God didn't ever give an answer.
But
well,
BS,
he gave one that didn't like.
Yeah, that's the thing. He did answer, but there it's like, well, that can't be it.
It's also the one that's most clearly true if you're trying to like shoehorn all the stories together.
Yeah. Or I guess, but if people do want to at least leave chats that we can actually see and put up on screen, maybe start watching on Twitch. Maybe that's the move.
Oh, that is a Twitch comment. I wonder how that got through. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or we're also on Facebook. If anyone's on Facebook, you can watch there. Yeah. All the links.
Tell anybody about us over there.
Yeah. So yeah, the links to all of our channels and stuff are in the description. So you click on any of those, or just keep watching on YouTube and leave your comments there and make me have to keep looking at my phone all the time. Up to you.
Facebook is very much cooperating with the feds these days.
Yeah.
They have a 4 out of 5 fascist rating. 4 chickens out of 5. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That was a real thing. I didn't make it up. It was this study somebody did.
That I want to know more.
It's like, how much do these media companies chicken out on a scale of 1 chicken to 5 chickens?
I like it. So BS says on YouTube, my mom is on Facebook. I'll tell her. It's like, yeah, thanks for reminding me, as my kids often do, that like Facebook is for the old folks. But hey.
Yeah. And people who can't tell the difference between an AI profile and a real one.
Right. Yeah. Or don't know what Photoshop is or. Yeah. But hey, I was on Facebook from the beginning. Back. What's that?
It's a sad place.
It can be. Unless you follow me or us on Facebook, then it's happy. Unless we're talking about depressing things like this guy.
That's where you find the old school racism is on Facebook.
Only the best. Only the best. Vintage.
The vintage racist.
All right. So here we go. Back to Mr. B. I backed him up a little bit because...
I'm going to get my YouTubers open too because I want to see the peoples.
Then we're glad you're here. All right. There we go.
was good, but they disobeyed. They brought sin into the world, and that act of sin has consequences.
All right, so the fall. So
I can't unhear it now. He just sounds like a girl now. It's like, it has consequences.
All right, Spooky. Spooky says. So Spooky Bed Hair says, I'm 62 and I'm still too young for Facebook. Well, you know what?
Yeah. You're also in the UK, though, aren't you? So maybe it's for younger people here.
Well, that's in British years. What's that in American years? Maybe he's really like 23. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how or why that works. So the fall. This is the Theodicy. Well, I guess probably one of several. And pretty much based on victim blaming. It's like, look, people chose to sin, and they're the ones who brought. Like, God wanted a perfect world, but we screwed it up. Which, first of all, that also apparently makes us pretty damn powerful. That we're able to completely mess up the perfect order that God created just by like eating a piece of fruit, I guess, and that somehow was just too much for him to overcome or
encouraged everyone forever.
Yeah.
Well, not forever. Until Jesus comes back and kills enough of us.
But for some of us, it'll still be forever.
Yeah,
because but yeah, that's no.
Win some, you lose some.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah. So, but let's let him continue.
Apostle Paul says that the whole creation has been groaning. So there's the fall. Next,
he's amusing the shit out of me.
Like nothing else on that, but like let's was there more of a setup for that verse? Sounded like he just like pulled a verse out of his ass, didn't elaborate, and just moved on.
Yeah. There's wind up into
the world, and that act of sin has consequences. The Apostle Paul says that the whole creation has been groaning. So there's the fall.
Of all the verses you could use to talk about the fall and why that is a cause.
That's not even what that verse is used for.
Yeah,
that's like you don't have an excuse to not be a Christian kind of shit. Like,
no, that's a different verse. That's the whole like creation, like creation declares the glory of God. Yeah, this is like all creation is It's all creation is groaning, as in like the birth pangs before the
right. Okay, that's right.
Thing. Yeah, so it's kind of related, but not at all the first verse most people think of when they go to like Theodicies and the fall and how Adam and Eve brought sin to the world. Like,
and that's really abrupt or immediately afterwards. He goes, and that's the fall. It felt like there was a cut there, like, and there was something else said that was cut out, but there wasn't.
Yeah, there's no cut. Just it's like he just had an internal
out of the script. And he was like, "Oh," and it's over.
Yeah, like someone like just like dropped one of the cue cards, or like the teleprompter started like skipping ahead or something. Yeah, like just an internal brain fart cut type of deal, because that's a thing. I just made
or he just wants to sound super confident that he nailed it.
That's actually probably it right there. So, all right. Well, that's the first. So. Also, like,
yeah, I was just picturing also, him like, instead of saying "so that's the fall," he just ends with "nailed it."
Hashtag. Okay. But as an answer to a Theodicy, because like when the question is like, why does God allow evil things to happen, and it's usually like used as an argument against the existence of God, though not necessarily, but that's often like the context for bringing up the problem of evil, among other things. So how is it how do you expect it to be satisfactory for a non-believer who's bringing this up as a problem, as an argument against your God, to answer them by quoting the Bible at them? saying, well, the Bible says it's okay that it happened because it's actually our fault. And we're like, yeah, we know that's what it says. We're just saying that doesn't make sense. Oh, but Paul says we're groaning.
Well, it's the Bible.
Yeah.
It's
So
right.
that was so that was
Why don't you care? My feelings are hurt.
yeah, so that was awful. Let's see if he improves in the next 4 reasons. He doesn't, but we'll watch anyway. So
I want to see proof.
Next, some Christians appeal to human free will as another reason why God might allow evil and suffering in the world.
Well, he might again.
Well, he's good at this.
Yeah. Again, so we're just going to assume that free will actually is a thing. I'm super skeptical of it, but I feel like for the sake of argument, discussion, shitting on this guy, whatever, I'm willing to grant it. Like, Matt, that's up to you how you want to approach it. Or
I think a practice, if it exists, is probably very limited, and it might only be limited.
Oh, yeah.
It might be as limited as just like we have the option to view something as good or bad, and viewing it as either good or bad determines how it's going to be used by our brains and feelings and stuff. That may be the extent of it. Is it a 1 or a 0? Like, which binary is it?
Yeah.
But it's super useful for Christians, especially, to be able to deal with the problem of evil and all kinds of stuff. But it's really not completely in the Bible. It seems like people have choices, can be punished for choices, but then it also seems like whatever God wants to happen happens. So
Yeah.
Americans love free will. I know that.
Right. Mm-hmm. American Christianists, of course, but yeah, they're something special. So, all right. So, free will. Let's see. Well, 'cause this seems like, is this really a different argument than the one he made for the fall? Because that was basically his argument for the fall was like, well, humans chose to sin. Like, isn't that this like just the same thing? Basically.
Mm-hmm. Different words, same thing.
Or distinction without a difference. Maybe that's. Or let's let him continue. Maybe he just gets really confused and accidentally makes it a completely different point that it's really not.
The free will theodicy posits that evil and suffering exist as a consequence of humans having the freedom to make choices, which includes the possibility of choosing to do evil. As a matter of fact, the Bible's full of people.
What?
So, yeah, it's just.
I didn't catch all of that because what just happened?
Well, let's see. Also, like the super like pretentious like I don't even remember what that's called. Some kind of coffee thing that's
Carafe or whatever.
No, but like this is a specific one. It looks like this was like some kind of like pour over kind. I only know because like my brother-in-law has a bunch of stuff like this. But yeah, I mean it's good when he makes it, but I'm just like as if this like video like this guy like wasn't giving off enough of a pretentious vibe as it was.
Yeah. The kitchen's pissing me off. It's probably not even his.
Or that's the thing, maybe it is, but that really pisses me off. If this guy is that well off for doing this bullshit. But anyway.
Yeah, from what I can see, the kitchen probably
as
costs at least $30,000.
Oh yeah, easy.
Consequence of humans having the freedom to make choices, which includes the possibility of choosing to do evil. As a matter of fact, the Bible's full of people exercising their free will in disobedience of God, and suffering results. Another reason
Isn't that a problem?
Yeah. And suffering results.
Like, congratulations, you just described the problem of evil.
Yeah, but also, and this is something that gets pointed out a lot, and I forget if he admits to this, but that really only explains some evil. Like, it doesn't explain any what's called natural evil, like
Yeah.
diseases, natural disasters, things like that, where it's like, I mean, like, so what? I mean, again, they try to point this all back to the fall, but what just day to day, like nowadays humans, like what choices are we making that's causing like earthquakes or
Tommy, it's that LGBTQ.
no, but they tell me that that's actually God specifically sending punishments for them. It's like, so it's not like their choices directly lead to that. It's God choosing, well, this is how I'm going to respond to that. So again, it's like,
Right.
you're not really explaining stuff here, dude. Nope. But again, he's going back to, we see, well, the Bible says that this is just how it works. It's like, don't care.
Why is that a good answer for you?
Yeah. Again, this I think is a perfect example of how apologetics really isn't for non-believers. It's for believers to just make themselves feel better
and smarter. We're the smarter Christians.
Yeah, because he said Theodicy, so
it's one of those confusing Latin-y words. I actually can't remember the definitions of like any of the theology words that have like a Latin-based name for them. My brain doesn't know what to do with it. It's a problem.
Yeah, man. Looks like even on, I'm just looking at YouTube, looks like the chat's kind of died down. Where'd everybody go?
This guy's kitchen killed the mood. Monochromatic.
Yeah.
That fucking hell in back. He spent all that money. Somebody spent all that money on that like herringbone tile pattern back there, right? And it's like some bullshit, like 40% gray. Like, come on.
Yeah, and that's like that's like way more than just a backsplash. That's just the whole fucking wall.
So. Yeah, but you know what? They had that stuff comes on a mat, and you just like glue it up there, and it still tedious and expensive. But I can't stand kitchens like that, where it's like it looks like every magazine photo of a kitchen. Isn't that great? No.
But
I value your personhood less now.
But it's a great kitchen to give like shitty theodicies in. So.
Oh yeah. With coffee for some fucking reason, he's just pouring it in 3 different glasses. I don't know. It's time for bougie theodicy.
Come on.
Greater good. Greater good theodicies posit that despite the presence of evil, might be for a greater good. Greater good and suffering results. Another reason might be for a greater good. Greater good theodicies posit that despite the presence of evil and suffering, there exists a greater good or purpose that justifies or outweighs the existence of such evil and suffering.
What is it? You don't know,
it proposes that there is.
Oh, that's neat. Is there?
But you see, Matt, it proposes that there is.
So I'm just supposed to be in awe of the wonder that might.
See, you got to have faith, Matt.
Oh, I love the faith and the possibility of good.
But again, this is.
Let me plan my whole life around that, and let me put parts of me in a box and shun them forever, so that like we can get to that greater good. That we have faith exists, but really we might just be burning everything down slowly.
It's breaking my brain. Also, I think I'm distracted by like how not distracted I am, like with the whole like YouTube chat thing not working for some reason. So it's like I'm used to getting interrupted by you fine folks more often, so now I'm not. And I don't know. I don't remember how to just talk. So,
maybe YouTube.
But yeah, the whole greater good. so one of the problems with this is because this sort of touches on like an intuition that a lot of us do have just in like regular, like everyday stuff. Like we understand the concept that bad things can happen, but then like better things can come out of the situation. Sometimes because like a bad thing happened that brought about something that like, well, now it was a growing experience, or we learned a lesson or saw a different perspective or found a new way to get around a problem, and it was great. And yeah, that's good for little stuff like that. But again, so many of these theodicies completely fall apart once you take it into like the realm of like, okay, like serious bad shit happening, like things that seem to have absolutely no redeemable quality to them whatsoever. And I mean, I'm hesitant to go into specific examples. I'm sure everyone out there can think of something that's like
something terrible, you said?
Yeah, I mean, we had something today that happened up in Minnesota, but
that just happened today, right?
I think so. Yeah,
I had a dream last night that happened, or something. Because when I heard about that happening today, I'm like, did that already happen? Like that specific thing in Minnesota, like, it was really weird. That's been happening several times lately. Like, I'll have a thought, and then I'll play a YouTube video, or I'll and then it's like in the content of that video. Like, fuck.
Wow. Moonbeam Matt strikes again. Man.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's
neat.
Yeah. There's something to a lot of that stuff, yeah. But
I knew something terrible had happened right before I turned on the TV when the Oklahoma City bombing happened. I was turning it on, and I was going to watch Hook or whatever that Peter Pan cartoon was when I was in junior high. and I was like, oh, something terrible has happened. And I turned it on, and it's like this hollowed out like cavity of a building. Yeah, there it is. That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, which I mean, unfortunately, like the way things are going anymore. I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing to that, but I'm saying like even if that wasn't a thing, I think like just about any time you can say, "Yep, something terrible happened today," and you're probably right.
Yeah.
So, but all right, so great or good, but yeah, but basically, so like I said, a lot of these theodicies kind of don't really do much for like the much bigger, like greater evil type of things, because then basically what you're saying is, okay, even if you're saying God or whatever is, whether it's God working through the situation or people figuring shit out or whatever, that something better happens because people went through this hard situation. So basically what you're saying is God couldn't think of another way to get that to happen other than thousands of people dying, or like dozens of children having like, being scarred for life, going through traumatic experiences. Like you're saying, like, yep, God couldn't figure out a way for this to happen without having to do that. Like weird flex, but not okay, actually.
It doesn't mean that that thing that happened that was good in itself. It can, like, something bad can be the start of something good, or like the seed of something good, but that doesn't mean that thing is good.
Right.
And that's something that really bothers me when Christians talk about something terrible that happened. They're like, but it was good because this thing happened. It's like, no, it was awful and something good happened.
Right. Yeah. Those are two different things. But also what gets me is like, here's from Christians or like several other types will even say, well, this good thing that happened, that's why the bad thing happened. It's like, no, bad shit just happens because it happens. And then sometimes we're able to make something good out of it because that's just kind of like how we're wired, is like to not want a bad thing to be bad anymore, so we try to fix it or turn it around or something. Like, that's just what we do. That doesn't mean that's why it happened. So, yeah.
What else does he have?
I'm afraid to remember.
One example is found in Genesis 50:20. Joseph endures tremendous evil at the hands of...
Which, again, like, for all you non-believers, don't believe my little thing I said that some Christians kind of propose? That's not convincing enough? Well, let me give you another Bible verse.
his brothers. But he says to his brothers, as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today.
So he's talking about the story of Joseph and his brothers in Egypt. Well, I'll let him go a little far just to see if he actually explains the story. If he doesn't, I'll explain it for those who aren't familiar.
Of course, Jesus' death on a cross would be another example of a great good coming from a horrendous evil.
Okay, but real quick, so apparently he doesn't elaborate on the story, so we'll hear in just a second.
Excellent.
First, like, that whole, like, Jesus dying on the cross. Well, the thing with that is, it's like, if it wasn't for these evils and the problem of sin in the first place, then Jesus wouldn't have had to even do that to begin with. So that's such a terrible example. But right, so the story of Joseph in Genesis, for people who don't know. So Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob, who became Israel because he wrestled with God and God broke his dick.
Right.
Look it up.
Well, God's not gay or nothing.
No, he's just very anti-dick, apparently, except for his own, which is anyway.
Well,
so Joseph of Technicolor Dreamcoat fame. So he was Jacob's favorite son. All the rest of his brothers were super jealous, so they like beat him up and threw him in a pit, and then sold him to slavery, and he wound up in Egypt. But then while he was in Egypt, long story short, he ended up rising to be like second in command in the kingdom through like even more hardships and other things going on in there. But yeah, ended up being the number 2 guy in Egypt. But then there was a famine in the land, so his brothers, along with so many other people in the area, had to go to Egypt for food. But like his brothers didn't recognize him, but because he's like, hey, you're my brothers, you let everyone in, you can get all the food you need. So first of all, it was the greater good here was like very localized and specific. It was basically like for Jacob's family or Joseph's family or whoever. But
so the famine happened and probably killed people, so Joseph's family could be cozy again. That's the thing. Like the famine, that's not even the evil he's talking about. Like that's just kind of taken for granted. Well, of course the famine happened. He's like, no, all this shit had to happen to Joseph so he could help his family out when there was a famine. It's like, or I don't know, God could have just not let a famine happen. Or he could have spoken to the brothers instead, stop being a bunch of dicks. And it's like, so he has a flamboyant coat. Do you want a flamboyant coat? Honestly, like,
right? Because how would it, again, keep coming back to the parenting metaphor, because the Bible uses it all the damn time. And it's such a great example of why God is actually a pretty shitty parent. If an actual parent would have seen that situation, like they would have said, like you said, they would have intervened and said, like, no, don't do that. But then, tried to talk it out with the brothers, like discipline them in whatever way appropriate, but then like talk to, okay, why did you want to do that to your brother? Let's talk about why that's a bad thing to do. And, have a whole like reconciliation thing, because that's what we as parents do. Like when our kids are mistreating each other, whatever, like we intervene directly in the situation, like as, whatever is warranted. And then hopefully, ideally, like we're able to talk it out with them, talk through what's going on. How can we work through this? Like never at any point. I mean, first of all, like neither of my kids would do this to each other, fortunately. But if one of them was doing something like just beating the shit out of the other one and like tossing them in a pit and like trying to sell them, I wouldn't be like, I'm going to let this play out for several decades and see and that way something good can come of this.
Not even just let it play out. It was like he was disciplining Joseph.
Mhm.
Like the one that was getting beat and put in pits and like.
Yeah, I mean, plus how many situations can we point to where like nothing good came out of it at all? Like it was literally just bad thing happened to a person, they had a shitty life and they died. And nothing improved because of it, nothing was resolved. It was just part of a continuous cycle of bad things happening, and then it just kept happening to more people. It's like yeah.
These are non-answers from the cheese slicing hat man. His brain looks like it cuts cheese.
No. I will say, man, I am really missing our chat tonight. Like, I miss y'all. But yeah, so for anyone watching, for some reason, the YouTube chat just isn't showing up on our end. So feel free to keep leaving your chat and comments. I'll check back like on my phone here when I can. But it looks like that's even stopped on here. So it's my phone now.
Yeah. We still have viewers.
Yeah.
They're washing dishes and shit, probably.
What's that?
They're washing dishes and shit, probably.
No. Yeah. Well, hey, good for you. Way to be productive. We appreciate that. All right. So let's listen to this guy to be less than productive. But again, like giving us more Bible verses and Bible stories. Like, see, this
more
is why
of the
that
same.
was okay.
Another reason why God might permit evil and suffering is called the soul-making theodicy. It's argued that some evil and suffering is necessary for...
See, it's argued.
Yeah. I'm just the messenger.
And then I see it out. Spooky says, "I miss you too." Oh, heart.
I haven't heard of the soul making thing. I don't think.
Really? Oh, it's a doozy. So strap in or strap on.
Before we've established souls are a thing, let's talk about how they're made.
Well, it's really, I guess you call it like a soul improving theodicy, really, but we'll let him explain.
Theodicy. It's argued that some evil and suffering is necessary for the development of human souls. In this view, this world serves as a veil of soul-making, where struggles and trials faced by individuals contribute to the formation of their characters. This world gets us ready to spend eternity with God.
That is some woo bullshit.
And also, what he just said there, like, this world gets us ready to spend eternity with God. Like, how does going through suffering prepare us for heaven? Like,
because it's gonna be worse.
Like,
well, you got the refining fire and all that. You got to burn out the impurities, which is violent imagery. Also, a little bit nationalistic and supremacist in its implications.
Yeah. Now this is one from what I remember
that's not happening today in that region,
right?
The world.
Yeah. So this is one I'm pretty sure in our next video, Cameron Bertuzzi gets a little more in depth. So I won't go to all the places like my mind is going here. But like first of all, I'm like all I can think is like this is because I don't know where Cameron from Capturing Christianity is. I don't know where he is on like the story of the fall, like whether it was literal, if he's like a young Earth creationist and like it's like God created a perfect world and then Adam and Eve ate some fruit and then sin entered in the world. But this, to me, this soul-making theodicy is a huge problem because like as he just said, because he talked about the fall earlier.
It makes sin necessary.
Right. It's like, well, if this is actually what it needed to be to prepare souls for heaven, then why did God create a perfect world to begin with?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Created...
You can't take Genesis literally and think souls need to be furnace and shit to like be pure enough to be with God or whatever.
Right, because he just presented the fall as like, oh, this is what messed everything up. But now he's saying, oh, but this actually needed to happen so we could enjoy heaven more. Like, again, this is something that happens a lot on apologetics is like, in order to answer one question or address one problem, we'll come up with an answer. It completely ignore the problems that this answer makes for other issues and questions,
Yeah.
but just for now, like just as long as we can get you to stop thinking about this one thing, then that's good enough. So,
Finally, some argue that God allows evil and suffering because he wants to reveal certain things about himself that otherwise we wouldn't know.
I'd rather not see those things then.
right? And again,
Those sound like
You're
bad
saying-
things.
yeah. And again, you're saying that God can't do something like simply just reveal his attributes without causing or allowing great suffering. Like, why?
Them's the rules
Like,
that God has to follow.
whose rules? Like, who?
The bigger
How-
God.
So then he's a dick.
The God of the ninth planet. You know, Nibiru or whatever that shit is. Where, you know, the giant planet that couldn't possibly exist.
I don't. But that's okay.
There's some like mythical planet that like comes like has a super elliptical orbit. It's not real. There are like stellar bodies out there, but not planets that people live on because you know, absolute zero and shit out in space.
Right.
But the woo crowd loves it.
Oh, for sure.
It makes
Oh,
Jesus space Jesus instead of like Jewish Jesus or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Jewish, probably in a mass grave somewhere. Jesus. Yeah.
Jeez. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't
That's
mean to
accurate,
make.
but it just sounded.
Yeah, I realized as I was saying, it's like, wow, that was a possible, like, very dark connection being made there. I apologize.
It's like accurate. However,
Yes. No, more just like, because that's what happened to crucifixion victims back then. They were just tossed in mass graves. And so, yeah, that's all I meant by that. But what I was about to say to hopefully, like, lift the mood, because, like, it was, yeah, Jesus was crucified, like, not because, like, he was preaching love and people just couldn't handle it. It's like, no, he was from all indications, he was a troublemaker, first century apocalyptic cult leader.
he was breaking the law,
And
religious
Yeah.
and state.
yeah, and Rome was like, we have ways of dealing with you. So he was fuck around and find out Jesus. That's pretty much. So but before we get back to the video here, so you may notice, like, before all of these, he's saying something like, some argue or some propose that, as if he's like presenting all these different options. So just to let you know now, because there's only like a little over 30 seconds left, if anyone's waiting for him to do like the big reveal at the end of like, some argue this, some argue that, here's the real answer. It's not coming.
No, you're just supposed to wrestle with it.
Yeah. Right.
But somebody won that wrestling match between Jacob and God. So why I don't understand. I didn't understand, like, when I was a Christian, that, like, the whole thing of like, we just need to wrestle with it. Also, when you say wrestle in a breathy tone, it makes me think of wrestle, and that just makes me think of Bugs Bunny, and I couldn't take him seriously. But also, there was a winner of that wrestling match. It wasn't just wrestling for the sake of wrestling with something until you spin it in circles enough that, like, you're confident again.
Yeah. Eventually, like, there was a resolution to it. It wasn't just keep questioning until you die. But yeah. So I will, I mean, again, this is totally up to the viewers, whatever you want to do, but just if you want to do me a favor, just because I'm missing the chat so much, if you wouldn't mind hopping over to a Twitch or a Facebook and leaving comments there just so we can actually see them. Like, it's up to you. You know, links to other channels are in the description. As
we can
always.
see them on our phones in the YouTube app, but
yeah,
doesn't catch our site as quickly because it's down here.
And also, here. And also, like, obviously, I can't put them up on screen.
Oh, yeah.
So, but if you want me to be able to put it up on screen, like this one chat we got from Spooky, or
keep putting that one up every time.
Yeah,
somebody says something, we'll put his up.
because it's actually appropriate. He's like, because it's describing what's happening as we're reading your YouTube chats. Like we're chatting away on the YouTube side chat.
Also, it's really difficult for us to have something different than normal. Because the Tism brain keeps going, different. It's different. The dimension is different.
Yeah, because also you probably noticed for a while when we first started getting like more traction on the YouTube side and we're getting a lot of people chatting, that was throwing us off because we weren't used to that. But now that we finally got used to that, now that's gone. So this is just tonight's. It's just all the triggers, like changes in the chat. This guy's bullshit. Just all the things that are designed to. All right, but yeah. So, but here's how. Hey, I appreciate that. See, whining works.
The squeakiest Tommy gets the grease.
That's why I laugh that way. That's why I call squeaky. So
this last label, the reveal God's attributes, that looks like less of an official thing. Everything else kind of has like a shorter, punchier name that says 3 words in it.
Yeah, this is, but let's see.
It's the least thought
how
out.
God can only also just think about this. God can only reveal to you fully who He is by letting horrible, traumatic shit happen.
Must mean He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Clearly.
For example, it's in a world with sin that God demonstrates His grace, His mercy, His forgiveness, His justice, and even His enemy love. So we looked at some of the reasons.
But the camera work that was happening when he was saying it, and it was like this twitchy zooming in.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a horror movie.
Like, right? So let's see that again.
Forgiveness, His justice, and even His enemy love. So we've looked at some of the reasons forgiveness world with sin that God demonstrates His grace, His mercy, His forgiveness, His justice, and even His enemy love.
So basically, God has to let bad things happen so He can show how He forgives us and His enemy love. But again, if God needs to show His enemy love, why did He create us as not His enemies? Why didn't He just create us as His enemies to begin with and then do the whole "here I am to save you" kind of thing? Like,
because the forever punishment couldn't happen then.
Yeah, it's it hurts. I mean, it just makes no sense. Like, think about what you're saying about God when you're arguing shit like this, and what you're implying. Like, oh, this is the only way God can do it. It's like, why? And again, more Bible verses aren't going to help. But I have a feeling He's not going to do much more explaining on that one.
I think He's really talking about Himself. I think when people do this, there's this vibe that they're really just talking about people, specifically themselves. Like, that's why I'm so terrible, is because that's how it reveals my goodness. And it's to like explain away things in themselves they don't like. Like, I'm still a good boy, even though I do this.
Yeah.
There must be somebody that's infinitely better / worse than me.
Oh, man.
I'm really distracted by the coffee in these like fancy, almost like wine glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like these stemless wine glasses.
I don't understand what's happening with the imagery here.
So someone else in the YouTube chat, which again, if you're just joining us, for some reason the YouTube chat is not showing up on our end. I'm having to see it on our phone. But if you want to watch on Facebook or Twitch, but Ember is here.
Hi, Ember.
And she asks, "Are you asking an apologist to think?" Like,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just think a little
bit. That's hey, hope springs eternal. Just asking for a little bit.
Introspection is the devil, you see. so they can't do it.
Yeah, because if they're thinking, then they're leaning on their own understanding.
You need to lean on your understanding of the Bible instead.
And that is a bad. But hey, but for
bad.
Ember and anyone else still watching on YouTube, if you want us to be able to see your comments here on my screen here and be able to show them like this, then if you wouldn't mind, if you can, head over to Twitch or Facebook. Links to those channels in the description. Also, let us know if you're watching on Twitch, just because I've never really used it much. How is that experience? Let us know if it's just, even if it's just you, Spooky, over there. But also, speaking of Ember, happy belated birthday.
I had no idea. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think she was on the stream with, it was on Bad Science Sunday. Yeah. I don't remember if that was actually that day was actually your birthday or if it was just around there. But anyway, happy birthday and glad you're here. Even if I can only kind of see you on my phone whenever I remember to look. All right.
Is this guy almost done being the big dumb?
He is. So let's let him finish.
We've looked at some of the reasons why God might allow evil and suffering, but I want you to notice something. There's still some liquid left over. That's because we don't have all of God's reasons figured out, and we shouldn't expect to. He's God.
Hold on.
We're not. We do our best to understand God's ways, and then we trust Him even when we don't understand.
So we trust that our understanding of Him is correct, even when we don't understand. Got it. So this was all a waste of time for you to do this if that's all that needs to happen. You could have just said that.
Right. Yeah, you could have just left all the coffee in the thing, not even poured it out into anything that wasn't actually an answer.
He didn't even use the Bible to back this up. And like it's in Job. You could pull it from there. Just shame the audience like God shamed Job for, wondering.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it, Spooky, but hey, if I've learned anything from Mr. B, this is just some suffering that you're going to have to endure for the greater good that is me feeling better. So, that's what this is all about, apparently.
So be consoled that you are helping Tommy's faith.
in myself and my ability to feel good and validated. So, because I am a fragile boy. Just like that. So, but let's.
That's what it really is. It is just fragility.
Yeah. So I want to back him up a little bit here.
Christian fragility.
It's why God might allow evil and suffering, but I want you to notice something. There's still some liquid left over. That's because we don't have all of God's reasons figured out, and we shouldn't expect to.
Also, I love how he says there's still some liquid left over. Like, why did he say liquid? Like, it's coffee. Why not say there's still some coffee left over?
I don't know. Who says?
Not,
look,
it's
an experiment or something.
Yeah, it's like if this was him, like, because it looks like he's setting this up almost like a coffee tasting or something. But who says like, oh, I've had my coffee but if you want more, who says, oh, is there still some liquid left over? Like, I mean, maybe
also,
just people who are happy with that.
That's what an alien would say. Give me more of that, like, brown dirt water left.
Yes, and I do.
Also, the imagery here is like there's equal parts in every cup. So the imagery is that all of these are equal ideas, and they're not. Some of them are worse than others.
Well, they're all equally bullshit and all equally speculative and all equally not actually grounded in reality. So, in that sense, sure. In which case, like, props to him for actually being able to pour like even cups like that, because that's something that I both would not be able to do, and it would drive me completely fucking insane that I didn't have completely even cups of liquid.
I think he was at a coffee tasting thing at someone's house. Bunch of like white people in their like 30s and 40s got together, had a coffee tasting. He was like, you know what?
and he probably like me in that kind of situation. We're like, this reminds me of suffering.
He probably said it then, and people are like, "Oh, you should do a video."
Because they all sound like that
No,
in these kinds of situations.
no. Have you heard? Like, that's how. I think it's Gen Z. Like it's like the wealthier. I think it's a wealthier Gen Z crowd. Everything they always end in the like at the end. Why don't you tell me?
Yeah, fortunately, neither of my kids are like that. They're both in Gen Z, I think. But so Ember on YouTube says, shouldn't there be infinite coffee?
Well, no, then there'd be infinite explanations, and that's bad for business.
Well, or should there be infinite explanations? I don't know, because he seems to be comfortable with because he. Well, I guess
it's the game away then. Because also, be like something you circle back to over and over again. If it goes on forever, people be like, "Wait, this is bullshit."
But because since the leftover liquid is supposed to be like the mysterious, all the things we don't know. So how do we know there aren't infinite answers that we just don't know? But good news, you found the emojis. Bad news, they don't actually show up.
Wow, it looks like you just had a stroke.
Our condolences, but surely this stroke is for the greater good. Me laughing. So thank you once again, Spooky. Man, Spooky, I think, is like our honorary martyr tonight. This is. Bet you didn't know you were signing up for that. And thank you.
Praise be to Spooky.
Hey, it's okay because we work in mysterious ways, and so does Restream for some reason. So we are the leftover liquid.
How much you want to bet if we had the next subscription level up, we would get we could paste the emojis.
Ooh. Damn it, Derek. I mean, thank you for letting us use it.
No, I probably wouldn't work then either.
Yeah. I've seen the same thing happen like on other people's streams as well. So
interesting.
Yeah. All right. So there we go.
We need somebody to throw a Pepe frog up whenever somebody says something borderline racist.
All right. So let's see if I can let him finish out here.
Evil and suffering, but I want you to notice something. There's still some liquid left over. That's because we don't have all of God's reasons figured out. And
even just the way he said it, it's not just, look, there's even some liquid left over. He's like, there's still some liquid left over. It's like, he just can't turn it off.
We shouldn't expect to. He's God, we're not. We do our best.
Why should we not expect to, though? Like,
because we're the big dumb, Tommy. God's the big smart.
Like, that's just thrown out as if we're just supposed to just take that for granted. Like, oh yeah, these like big questions for what for a lot of us are like huge issues, and especially for a lot of us for whom questions like this are why we don't believe in God. And he's just like, well, we can't expect to know the answer. Like, so I guess God doesn't care that this is such a big issue and such a big deal for a lot of people and causes so much non-belief in him. He's like, yeah, it's can't expect it.
And if we can't expect to know, then why apologetics at all? Just say that over and over again. Well, you can't expect to know.
So Ember has another good point, good question. She says, I'm confused. Is the coffee evil or the good reasons for evil?
Well,
you see,
depends if he's racist or not.
And she says, and why do we need to play guessing games with God's reasons? Isn't truth only true when it's revealed?
Yeah, otherwise it's just a mystery.
Good point. Yeah. Because, yeah, if it hasn't been revealed,
That's why
then,
Catholics worship the mystery.
I mean, I guess when that's all you got. So, all right. So, that was the end of this video. So let's get this guy.
I need some color. This is just monochromatic and brown water.
Well, here's us. All right, and so I teased this earlier, but here's my response to this guy. So,
By the way,
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I forgot how good that was.
I know, right? And I love that I can just do that now. But I'm sorry I cut you off because now I don't.
Oh.
In my mind, it made it sound like he was responding to you, but that.
Oh no, that's weird.
Yeah.
I was just pointing out that it's interesting that like the whitest people have the most Caucasian kitchens. It's just like various shades of pale.
Yeah.
Also, I don't understand why people have glass doors on their cabinets. Like, who's that excited about their dishes that they need to see them all the time?
I mean, I like a couple of my coffee mugs, but that's like about it.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
It's like I want my cabinets to look like the fanciest garage sale ever. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, unless people like when they're coming over, if they want to buy any of my shit, that's cool. But all right, all right. So that was Mr. B from Red Pen Logic, trying to just giving us like the big picture, broad overview, basically just letting us know when it comes to the problem of evil. It's like, hey, Christians have discussed this, and unrelated Bible verse. So, yeah.
He didn't even go the church father route. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure some of those were.
But hey.
Oldies but goodies.
Yeah, but hey, leftover liquid. Never forget. I may need to clip that. Like you like whenever there's someone just gives an answer that's a non-answer, just go like, you may notice there's some liquid left over. It's sort of like the new metaphor for God's mysterious ways. So I like that. I have to do that. All right. So next we have another comment from Ember here. It's for people who don't do their own kitchening, so they can find the coffee mugs in
exactly.
theory.
Yeah, if you, I was just thinking that too. If your cabinets are that presentable, you pay somebody to do that.
Right, and not just your kids. It's like you.
No, your kids aren't. If you get to a certain wealth level, your kids are not the help.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, so we're about to start our second video, so I'm on to second drink, which same as the first. Good old Great Lakes Oktoberfest. So, like I say, it's close enough to September, which is actually when Oktoberfest happens.
We need to remember to go.
Yes. Yeah, also, speaking of which, if any of our viewers are in the Cincinnati area where we are, Cincinnati's Oktoberfest is actually one of the best. From what I remember,
biggest in the world.
Second biggest in the world, second only to Munich, Germany. Because of course, if you're gonna be second place to anyone in such a category, that's the one to lose out to. And we're also Munich's sister city. I don't remember exactly what that means.
They're gonna disown us pretty soon.
Wouldn't blame them.
Actually, Ohio's weird. Cincinnati's weird. our the black people that live in Cincinnati and Ohio, they're arming up because we have open carry in Cincinnati. Don't we have open carry? I know we have concealed carry.
I actually don't know.
And I think there's concealed carry without a permit. Like you don't need a license anymore. Like if you just have a gun, you can just wear it. I think that it got weirder. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Also, if you're given a gun like by somebody, you don't have to register it. So, black people are arming themselves in case it gets a little underground railroady again in Cincinnati.
Yeah, which I'm not usually very pro gun, but like in this case, I'm like, yeah, not gonna tell you not to. So, all right. So what's you on your second?
Yeah,
as well.
It's a reduced gluten session IPA called Banzai from High Grain Brewing down the street from me. And by down the street, I mean I could walk there if I was drunk, if I had to. But I mean, walk home. Why would you walk to there if you're drunk? Or is that an awesome evening?
I have gone to bars already drunk before. Yes, there.
I mean, it's probably half a mile or a mile away, but it's walkable if you had to.
Yeah, see, that's one thing I miss about my very first house. That was, well, as an adult, my first house, like that I owned. It was just a few blocks from the campus of the University of Cincinnati, but more importantly, just a few blocks from Christie's, which is a little outdoor beer garden drinking area that's no longer there.
It's a parking lot now, I think.
Yeah, but what was great about that was my house was all downhill from there, so I could literally just like stumble or roll home.
But it kept going, like past your street. You said if you got a good roll on, you'd be in over the Rhine before too long.
Yeah, I would need to make a sharp right at some point.
And that's when McMicken Street was, or McMicken Avenue. That's when that was dicey. If you went that far.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit gentrified now, unfortunately.
Okay, so real quick, funny story.
Less murder, though.
Yeah. So funny story about Over the Rhine. If people aren't familiar with Cincinnati and like the Over the Rhine neighborhood, it's one of those neighborhoods that like 25 years ago, well, if people know about like the race riots that were happening in Cincinnati in like 2001, that's where it was happening. So for a while it was known as like just kind of seen as like the bad part of town. Like I think even before like that whole ordeal, it was like one of the downtown neighborhoods, very low income, just it's been through some rough times. People consider it a rougher neighborhood or whatever, but it's since in like the years since they've been a lot of development down there, and now there's actually like fun places to go. But anyway, before all that, so years ago, we when I was still married, we were hosting like international students, and we had this one student, and they would go to like the English language school that was on UC's campus, not part of the UC, but anyway. So then after, usually like when the students were done, they would just like catch the bus home. But we had this one student who was from Brazil. And his first day of class, like a lot of times on the first day or the first week, we'd offer to like drive them to and from just so they could, until they're familiar with like, the bus routes and how everything works. But he's like, no, I got it. I can figure it out. Like I've ridden buses. I know how this works. So he's like, so I think it's like, we just drove him to class the first day and just pointed out like where the bus stops were. He's like, oh yeah, I got it. So we started walking down the one street. It's Vine Street. If people are familiar with that area, it's like Jefferson is along UC's campus, and then it turns into Vine Street and goes down that hill towards like Over the Rhine and downtown. And there's a bus stop there that had the bus to take him back to our place. But I guess he forgot exactly where the bus stop was or didn't see it. So we started walking down that street, but just kept walking until he got all the way down to the Kroger that's on Vine Street.
Oh, God.
Like also affectionately known as Crow Ghetto. And so I think I was like,
not a safe place for outsiders.
So, yeah. So I remember, I think I forget if I was at home or if I was at work, but I know like my wife was at home, but she was doing some painting because We were always doing painting. But also, like, my older brother, he was also visiting for some reason. I don't remember why. Maybe he was probably helping out with the painting as well. So, but they get a call from someone at Kroger, say, hey, there was like a security guard or something there. It's like, hey, we're giving your number. Like, we got this kid here. He's like foreign. He's like lost, very confused. And it was also like a really hot day. So he's like, he's all sweaty. We just got him a Mountain Dew. And he said, like, you can come pick him up. It's like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is. Yeah. That's ghetto hospitality. Don't give him water. Give him Mountain Dew.
Or he may have requested that. I don't know. I mean, he was like a college
okay.
kid, you know, that's what you do. But they're like, so my ex is like, yeah, sure. We'll come pick him up. So, but I don't know if like why she didn't drive, but I guess my older brother drove. And this was just the car he had at the time. Because this is for people who know my older brother, like, he only had this car, like he bought it used, like he did not have this done, but it was one of those cars where like all the windows were like very darkly tinted out. so basically,
white people with tinted windows pull up.
Yeah, so here's what this situation is like from the perspective of the Kroger employees and security guard. This poor, lost, sweaty, confused Brazilian comes in. Has no idea where he is, where he needs to go. He gives you a phone number. You call that number. A woman answers. Says, we'll be there soon. The next thing you know, this black car with tinted out windows just like quickly pulls up and out jumps a lady with clothes like just completely covered in paint splotches, grabs the Brazilian kid, gets him in the car, and they speed off. And there were some stories told after that, I'm sure, much like what I'm telling, but from a much funnier perspective. So
he's probably like, I'm going to pretend that wasn't human trafficking.
Yeah. Oh, so another comment from Ember, I'm assuming a while ago. Yeah, pub crawls are no dungeon crawl, but they can be fun. I do love a good dungeon crawl as well.
What is a dungeon crawl?
It's like a gaming thing. I guess it can be used in lots of different contexts, like maybe more like RPG type games, or that might even be a Dungeons and Dragons thing. I don't actually know. I just think about it, and like a lot of the video games I play have a lot of good dungeons in them, like, you know, your Zeldas, your Dark Souls, and Bloodborns and whatnot. But anyway, I could be completely misusing that term. I don't know. I'm just some dumb millennial. All right, so I'm
a Gen X millennial.
Yeah, I'm what they call a Zennial, which is like an X-ennial, because like I'm on like the, I guess, the leading edge. You were born in the late 70s, right? So
78.
I think I think that's solidly Gen X, at least as far as the dates are concerned. But the early end of the millennials were called Zennials. It's like we kind of have like characteristics of both. It's like, because like we kind of grew up like with the technology, but we also like remember life before.
Yeah, we're the last generation that knows what life was like without the internet.
Yeah, so we still have some of the things like, you know, Gen X's trademark cynicism and like different kind of perspective, but it's like, but we're also like super familiar with the technology. That too. But yeah, it's this whole interesting thing that I could go on, but I feel like we've been delaying the good Mr. Bertuzzi long.
Mr. Bertuzzi, he spent so much time on his hair, we have to watch.
Exactly. So, all right, let's see, give that a second to come up. All right, are we there? There he is. So this is before he decided he wanted to look like, you know, like so many males nowadays are like deciding he wanted to look like Brad Pitt in the Inglourious Bastards or whatever that was.
Are you talking about with the lighting or
no? With the hair and the mustache he has now, which he doesn't quite have. He's got that little kind of dusted on goatee action going on there.
It's that fashy aesthetic. You get the 1940s military haircut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which anyway.
The Wilhelm mustache.
Right?
Let's get both wars.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. How old is this? 6 years ago. So yeah, I guess that's maybe. Man, he's been doing this for that long. Fuck. Anyway,
he's one of the best, and by that I don't mean like he's good at this. I mean he's good at what Christians want him to be good at. He nails that.
And spoken like a true boomer, in my day, we used to have a generation of people every 20 years or so. Now it's every 20 minutes. Yeah,
it is scary how much it's speeding up. Like, we're either going to wipe ourselves out or hit some kind of great equilibrium.
That may or may not be so great. So, all right. So in this one, our man Cameron tackles the. Well, here, let me get our logo out of the way so y'all can see. Even though I'm about to tell you anyway. So he asked the question, why didn't God just create everyone in heaven? Meaning, like other extensions of this question is like, why did God even create all the people that he knew were going to go to hell anyway? Because that's one of the ways around the whole, like, why not just why evil things happen, but also why people end up in hell. It's like, well, God had to give them free will, and this was their choice. And it's like, okay, but if God already knew what everyone was going to choose, he could have just not made all the people who are going to choose hell, because that's a thing people choose. It's like he could have just not made them.
Limit the options.
Yeah, or again, to skip the whole like suffering of this world. Like, again, why couldn't God have just not even bothered with that step and just made us all already in heaven, so he wouldn't be here for like with the corrupting influence of sin? Like when he cast Lucifer down from heaven, could have just like thrown him to earth and said like, fuck you, you stay down there all by yourself, I'm gonna make more of my peeps up here. And
but these are gonna have wings and have to stay here forever. in the higher up heaven. Not
right
place.
Right, exactly. And such. All right. So, all right. So you're ready to get...
I am a little terrified of the old person cough, and then I'm going to have one, because it drives me crazy when somebody's just like, and it's just like I had dinner clearing throat thing that happens. Just like I had food.
Right.
I don't want to be making that noise to irritate myself ever.
Fair enough.
I'd be like,
all right.
Like just angry at it. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So also you can kind of see like some of his t-shirt here. And I think he's going to reference this as well, but it's a little slogan or whatever that I guess he's kind of famous for. It says, questions are not arguments.
Also define famous.
Yeah. Well, he says it a lot, and he thinks it's making a good point. Like, I think he'll bring it up so he can address it then, but
it's less
it's one of the
than he thinks it is.
Yeah, and it's also one of the stupider things I've ever heard as some sort of like attempt at rhetoric. But anyway, let's see what he has to say. And I think it might go a little something like this.
What's up, guys? I'm Cameron Bertuzzi here looking at another objection to Christianity. This one basically goes like this. If heaven is so great, then why didn't God just create everybody in heaven? And in fact, this question is so interesting that it has professional philosophers and theologians like puzzling over it themselves. So here's what we're going to do in this video. First, we're going to get a little clarity on the objection, how it actually goes. Second, we'll look at how Christians could respond. And then third, I'm going to offer 3 reasons why God wouldn't just create everybody in heaven.
So he's going to say, he basically said, here's how Christians could respond, but here's how I'm going to respond better.
Well, he's always the best.
Right.
He's capturing Christianity.
I mean, he captured it. He's got it.
Christianity can't have free will. He has to capture it.
Well, which is good. I guess like Christianity's been causing a lot of trouble. It's about time someone captured it. Maybe I should be thanking him. But that sentiment won't last long. Yeah.
So the objection
Little
goes like
creepy
this.
that he's capturing Christianity and keeping it in what looks like a basement that he's in. Cameron, why are you capturing things in your basement?
Also, not related to that, but just made me think, like, is the Christianity in the room with us right now, Cameron? Did you really capture it?
Heaven is still going to have A, free will, and B, no sin. But then why in the world didn't God just start us out in heaven? Like, what is the point of all of this suffering and more?
You look like you had a thought.
No, I'm just agreeing with him.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, yeah,
Moral evil on earth. Here's a more like theological way of framing this question. If God foreknew what was going to happen, why didn't he create a new heaven and a new earth from the beginning and forego this world of suffering? Now, before we even look at responses, we have to remember that questions are not arguments. Ask
who thought.
Well, first of all, yeah, again, there's a whole, like, who asked?
Is he just saying, like, this question has no value because it's not an argument? I don't.
Well, I think. Well, we'll see if he gets into it more. But first of all, like, have you never, like, we literally have a phrase called a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Which means basically a question that is used for rhetoric or making arguments. But apparently not.
Sometimes they are, Cameron.
No, but you see, it says it real big here on screen.
It's also on a shirt, and he wouldn't put it on a shirt if it was stupid.
Right.
So it must be smart.
And it's not just a catchphrase; it's a slogan. So
it's not just a slogan; it's an income stream.
why God wouldn't do X is not an argument that Christianity is false. And don't get me wrong, I think that these are really good questions. I think that they're questions that deserve an answer. But not having an answer doesn't in any way mean that God doesn't exist. That's just not how.
So basically, and I've seen him like pull this line out like in like debates or discussions with other people who are like questioning Christianity, trying to debunk it or whatever. And it's basically, it totally has the vibe of, well, you asked a really good question that I can't answer, and you seem to think that because I can't answer it, then that makes my argument weaker. And that's true, but I want to come up with a fun way to make it sound like that you're actually dumb for thinking you're making a point by asking me a question I can't answer. But me not being able to answer a question in no way makes my side weaker. Nope.
So far, he's been wrong about questions and stating the obvious.
Yeah. And I'll let you guess whether you think it improves from here.
How it works. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's look at how Christians could respond. I mean, we could just admit that we don't know everything. We could just say, well, since I have other reasons to think that God exists and that Christianity is true, I don't really have an answer to this, but probably God has some kind of reason. And I mean,
because there's some liquid left over. So
God probably is. He seems a little and this person he's pretending to be is a little unsure that there's a reason. There's probably a reason.
There must be.
Oh, our Twitch bot.
Oh, good.
Which it looks like an actual real name.
Yeah, but still, I'm not interested in the Streambo or whatever that was.
The best viewers.
Yeah. So if more like actual people, which I was going to say, where's the actual people? Thank you, Spooky. You're there for me, and I appreciate it. All right. So questions aren't arguments, but they're still pretty compelling and can still make a good case.
And there's probably a reason.
But it's not an argument. I mean, sure, it may completely expose and explode the flaws and weaknesses in my point, but I can just say it's not an argument and therefore it doesn't count. So nah.
I think he's a Catholic flavored nihilist. Just like he doesn't seem to like really care.
That sounds like that would taste like licorice. No.
I like licorice.
Ugh.
I got a little bit of Catholic flavored nihilism going on. Post Catholic.
It's like, you like licorice? How are we friends? How
Black
did I let
licorice
this
is
happen?
good.
Well, then I
Especially the
somehow-
old fashioned kind. Like that's like rolled in like a little bit of wheat flour and sugar, you know? The grandma like layered candies.
Yeah. Also, speaking with how you say black licorice, here's something I get super pedantic about that I only recently found out is because of the tism. Okay, black licorice like that is licorice. Like licorice is a flavor. People seem to think that licorice is just a form of candy. Like they'll call things like Twizzlers, like red licorice. It's like, no, if it's red and not flavored as licorice, if it's like strawberry or cherry or whatever flavored, that's not licorice. Licorice is a root that tastes
right.
like a
It
certain
is.
thing.
Licorice root and anise.
Yeah, so if it doesn't taste like licorice, then it is not licorice. That's like saying, I don't know, this is it's like saying like an apple flavored strawberry or something. It's like, no, that's a different thing. So
what we're hearing is Tommy is reverse racist about his licorice.
sure.
You're a purist with your racism of
Hey.
licorice.
My candyism, I don't know. Anyway.
You like a really good strong like licorice though.
Yeah. Well, if any of that makes it into my house this Halloween, I will send it your way.
Okay.
Thank you for your service.
The Bible doesn't say that we should know the reasons behind everything that God does. And we also definitely
Well, isn't that convenient? It's like it's like somebody like if it was intentionally written that way, it's almost like as if somebody at some point as they were writing scriptures out, they were like, "Hey, so as we're like sharing our teachings and everything and trying to convince people to join our religion, they're having all these questions that are like really good questions, and they're not arguments. They're just questions, but we like don't know how to answer them, and they're making us look really bad. So maybe we should just add a part about how we're not supposed to be able to answer all the questions, and that's actually how it's supposed to be." It's like that's,
Yeah. You know what else wouldn't give you explanations? Things that don't exist.
right. But
Yeah.
that can't be what's happening here. All right.
Yeah, super weird people only encounter God in their own perception or others.
Mhm.
Maybe God is
doesn't say
the ghost in the machine.
It's like the ghost in the machine, only there's no ghost, and maybe not even a machine.
And less
But-
boobs, if you've seen the movie. The original one.
I have not, but
It's an anime called Ghost in the Shell. Actually, really good.
Hmm.
A little bit existential. And
yeah,
then
I'll get that.
And then they made a movie in America, and guess who played the lead role of the Japanese woman robot? Scarlett
No.
Johansson.
See, that's
Because
the
there weren't any Asian actresses.
thing. There just weren't.
There weren't.
Yeah, but that's what I like to say. Like when people tell me, "Guess what?" and like because like my kids tell me all the time, "Oh, guess what happened?" or "Guess what?"
No.
I always say no, because PDA.
Tell me.
Yeah.
You're going to anyway.
Yeah, but it's great. Like my kids now, they expect it. Like they just roll with it. Like they almost like treat it like I didn't even say anything. I still say it, and I was like, "No," and then they just tell me. It's great. Anyway.
say that we should know the reasons behind everything that God does. And we also definitely shouldn't fall into the
Yeah. So again, like they'll use this big, like, we're not supposed to expect to know everything, and like that God's thinking. Which, okay,
I had
fair
one
enough.
question. Didn't ask about everything.
Right. Yeah. Just this one thing. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's like if my kid's like in school, let's say like, so like, for instance, like the taking Spanish, and there's like, hey, you haven't taught us like the Spanish word for hello. Like, I think that's a pretty basic thing that you'd want to teach us. And then if the Spanish teacher's like, look, I can't teach you every word in Spanish. Why are you expecting to learn that word? I can't teach you everything. Don't you know that? Like, well, yeah, we know you can't, but
Can you even tell me if Spanish is a real language?
I mean, you at least know the Spanish teacher exists, so you already got a leg up in that regard. But
Dude, this is how it's gonna get. Like when we can't tell fact from fiction online anymore because AI can invent anything, including people. The only thing that we know for sure is what's in front of us, and the people we have seen in real life will know they're real. If we've only seen them on a screen, we have no idea how much of them was real.
So I guess in that sense, I can at least take comfort that I actually don't know for totally sure that Cameron Bertuzzi actually exists. So that's how I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. But guess what? No! I have a box of licorice root right here. That almost sounds a little threatening. Like, I got a box of licorice root right here. Say hello to my little friend.
I didn't expect licorice to hurt so much.
It's like, that's the thing. No one did. Anyway, all right. Where were we?
The trap of trying to bluff an answer when you don't actually have an answer. And so even really shouldn't fall into the trap of trying to bluff behind everything that God does. And we also definitely shouldn't fall into the trap of trying to bluff an answer when you don't actually have an answer. And so even
a Christian apologist should definitely never just bluff and just make shit up when they don't actually have an answer. And just say crap like,
we're not supposed to.
Yeah, they're definitely not supposed to say shit like, well, we just can't expect to know. It's all mysterious. Yeah. That's why you never hear
what apologetics is. It's just believable bluffs. Believable enough.
No, because Cameron here, an apologist, just said you're not supposed to do that. So that means they never do that ever.
It's also interesting. Anybody can call them an apologist, and it has some kind of qualification behind it. And
yep.
though I think that this is a completely legitimate way to respond. Like I said, I can think of at least 3 reasons that God would have to not just start everyone out in heaven. So let's go through them one by one.
Well,
the first reason is that in general, it's just an extremely great good that people can choose to be in heaven. Now, I say in general because obviously
couldn't you write a better sentence so that you didn't have to go, it's an extremely, can't you just use more words?
Well,
so he doesn't have to emphasize it so much.
Well, because he has to, and we'll get to that. But first,
because extremely matters. It's the no true great good thing.
No, but no, spooky. I'm not. Stop guessing. This guy has black licorice for hair.
He kind of does.
I mean, cannot disconfirm. So
yeah, I mean, I know he has really dark hair, probably black hair, but it does look like old engine oils in there too.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out, and this is something I actually do legit appreciate because this is something else I get super pedantic about. I love how you ended the phrase "guess what" with an exclamation point, because so many people end that with a question mark, but it's not a fucking question. It's a command.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be like, guess what?
Or it's like, guess what? Like, so sorry. So anyway, guess what? Appreciate you, Spooky. Once again, this is why you have a wrench. So, which I think you do. Yes, you still have your wrench. All right, cool. Anyway, so this is why I think he has to put that extremely in there. It's because it has to be such a great good that say like, well, this has to be like the best possible possibility. So you can't just say, well, it's good that people can choose to be in heaven. You're like, well, then it could be better.
Oh,
But
it has to be
no,
maximally good, but
yeah, which it's also weird that he didn't say it is the maximally great good. But I think even he knows he can't say that. So it's like, yeah, so it's like he has to like dress it up as much as he can, but realizing, okay, yeah, I know this probably isn't the actual best possible, but I gotta like make it sound pretty good.
that's why I think he's a bit of a nihilist at heart, because to play this game well, unless you're low bar Bill,
right?
You don't. Low bar Bill buys into what he's saying so much. I'm not convinced Cameron buys into it. I know he knows he's playing a role. Really get that vibe from him. Because he says things that like he clearly seems to be smarter than the requirements to believe that. But he's saying it because he knows how much other people will like it who can't think about these things as much, or who don't want to.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Yeah,
and this whole what the obsession with free will doesn't make sense to me either, because you're talking about a group of people who want to surrender their free will to a deity, into a church structure, into like elders in the church and people above you, and like surrendering to programming and like somebody else's. So you need free will so that you can surrender it voluntarily. Like I don't. If surrender is the goal, I don't. Why does it have to be voluntary?
Yeah. Also, here's the thing, and this just occurred to me right now. So let me know what you think of this, or if this has any legs, or why do we need to be able to choose to be in heaven? As in, like, it would be bad if God just put us there, but we didn't get the opportunity to choose to be there. But it's okay for us to not have the choice to be on earth. Like, why was it okay to make us here without our input or choice, but not in the better place?
So ultimately, there is no free will, if that's your theology, that like we were put here and now we have a choice because free will is important, but no one had the free will to be here.
Yeah. So basically is the extremely great good is that, okay, you're still put somewhere where you don't have a choice, but now you have to choose whether you go to the really good or the really bad place or not.
But isn't it great you exist? It's so great I exist. Man, I really love how my theology tells me what a great boy I am.
Yeah, plus there's the whole issue of whether people actually choose to go to heaven, because they present it as if everyone is presented with this clear choice of heaven or hell, and that they both definitely exist, and there's definitely a way to get to one and not the other. So anyone who goes to hell, that's what they chose. It's like, no, we didn't choose to go to hell. We were just simply not convinced that this choice was even real. Like, this is something we talked about before. Like, you cannot convince me that anyone in their right mind can be fully aware and conscious of the choice of heaven or hell, knowing full well what both of them are, and choose hell. So therefore, either you have to argue that God is sending people to hell who aren't in their right mind, which is abuse, or the choice just isn't actually that clear. and and all of us who are not choosing heaven, it's not that we're choosing hell. We're just like, I'm just not convinced that this choice is even a real thing. So anyway, because if I found out, because if I actually was convinced that heaven and hell were real, it's like, yes, I would choose heaven. So there you go.
Yeah. And Satanism definitely has
Good.
better tenets and
for sure. Mm-hmm. All right.
That people can choose to be in heaven. Now, I say in general because obviously not everyone has this chance. But in general,
yeah, and just fuck those people. Like, God's just like, again, like just the little hand waving and how they can think, well, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, that's a thing that totally, like, even though I just explained, well, this would be the greatest good if people can choose, so therefore that's what God has to do. But it's not the case for everyone.
Is there anyone who's been successful in apologetics who also does not seem like a sociopath?
Oh, yeah, successful being the key word there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they make a living.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think it can be done.
No.
So.
And
I concur.
Being able to choose to love God and enter into a relationship with him is a great good. Suppose that a scientist...
Again, this is a huge conflation that
maybe your relationship with God isn't good. Why are you assuming it's good?
Well, but he's conflating choosing heaven or hell with choosing a relationship with God. It's like that's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Because also, again, those of us who do not have a relationship with God, it's not that we see, oh, God is clearly trying to have a relationship with me and is leaving the choice up to me, and I'm just seeing the clear choice ahead of me, just not choosing him. It's like, no, it's not that we're love God, it's we don't think he exists, or we're just not convinced that he exists. So for us, like, there's nothing to choose.
And who chooses who they love? That's just fucked up thinking.
Yeah, because also, like, all I'm saying is just put me in heaven. Like, I'm not saying force me to love God. It's like, can you not just be in heaven but not love God? Like, will he not still let you just kind of hang around, like, just as long as you're not causing trouble or whatever? And he's like, yeah, God, I mean, I like heaven better than hell, and, like, you're all right, I guess. I don't really love you. Is it cool if I just, like, hang out in my mansion that you made for me all the time and just, like,
I'll just trim the bushes. I can live in the guest house.
Yeah. But yeah, again, this whole the way they have this set up, where in their minds, well, of course it has to be this way, but like, it doesn't. And it's weird that you think it does.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like you started with the answer and said, answer, because of course answer.
Because it has to be.
And said, give me
to
money.
love God
and my living. And said,
What?
give me money. This is my living.
For real.
enter into a relationship with him is a great good. Suppose that a scientist, like a mad scientist, came up with some kind of love serum that could make anybody you want fall in love with you. Like, it might be fun to dream or think about using this serum on somebody, but would you actually want to?
Yeah, it might be fun for you to think about, you creep.
Yeah, it's a bit terrifying. I mean, for a second, if you're like 9 years old, you're like, I don't know, younger, you get your first crush or something, you're like, oh, if I can just make her like me. And then you're like, but wait, even when you're a child, you know that something's wrong
as soon
with
as
that.
you as soon as you realize consent is a thing. Which again, but to put this in context of a relationship with God, like, again, I know of no atheist or other non-believer who is asking for the situation to be that we are forced to love God. All we're asking for is an informed choice. But they seem to think that, well, if God shows up, then that removes your free will to love him. Like, how? Like,
also, how many times do Christians pray for God to show up?
And also look at the Bible. How many times did God show up? I mean, what the fuck was Jesus? I'm saying, like, because that's the thing, like, people say to atheists all the time, oh, what do you expect in, like, God to just kind of show up in the flesh and say, hi, here I am, I'm God. So, as if that's a ridiculous thing to expect. And I'm like, Jesus?
Yeah.
That was kind of his thing, and except for the Gospel of Mark, but that's a whole other other issue.
How
definitely Gospel of John Jesus was all about, I'm here, I'm God. Fuck you gonna do about it? Yeah.
Watch me flex.
Have some fish. So
I like that Jesus accent. Have some fish. It's kind of like grown-up Cartman or something.
Have some fish. Don't be a dick. Why you put me on a stick? All right.
Yeah. I was just picturing Jesus on South Park having the voice of Trump / Saddam. He's on the cross going, come on, guys.
Hey, guy.
What's the big deal, guys? Oh, God, why have you forsaken me?
Oh, speaking of which, that reminds me, I have a video I want to pull up. I haven't uploaded it to here yet, but have you watched that little mashed up video?
It.
Oh, well, do you want to see it now? Now that you
Sure.
mentioned it, or do you want me to, or do you want me to save that for later? I haven't uploaded it, but well, here. I guess I can upload it here real quick. All right, so keep talking while I do that.
Words. I got nothing. There are a lot of funny things you can do with the gospel stories of Jesus, just because like there's no description of him, so you can kind of put like any character in there you want, like any version of Jesus. It just gets really funny. I don't think that would be sacrilegious if I were a Christian. I would think that would just be poor writing.
All right, so it's uploaded now. So
okay,
you can shut up.
Shutting up.
So, but if you remember, it was last week or the week before, but at some point, because we were talking about like the movie Clue and different clips, and you were saying how you wish someone would make a clip of a certain line from Clue in a certain scene from the life and or death of Jesus. So I was like, I'm going to make that clip. So here it is.
Yay!
For the first time seen anywhere other than just to me in my home. Here we go.
Ellie!
He was always a rather stupidly optimistic man. I mean, I'm afraid it came as a great shock to him when he died.
Yay!
So look out for that as a short that will hopefully be released on YouTube very soon. All right, so I'm not sure exactly what moment you were referring to, unless Matt,
I do want to get a bass ukulele.
Ooh, yeah,
because they're all like tenor or soprano. But I'm sure there's
now unless he was if he was talking
plonk,
about
plonk 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 when you play.
Yeah, get some real good bottom end on that. Maybe
plonk, plonk, plonk.
Oh yeah, get like a ukulele breakdown in there. Like,
ooh,
like not enough ukulele
reggae band. There's something.
Ooh, I like where that's going. But I'm just imagining like moments like this is where you should learn to play ukulele. I'm just imagining it during that clip that I just played.
Yeah,
but yeah, the bass uke. Nice. Speaking of nice, I know so on YouTube we're up to 65 subscribers. So I think what would be really nice if we could just get 4 more. Just saying, that'd be nice. All right.
It's an overrated position.
So tell your friends. It's like, come on, who would not want to be the 69th subscriber to this show?
Yeah.
So I would completely understand if someone like wanted to unsubscribe and then let that number get back up and then resubscribe. Hey, I'm totally in support of that. All right.
Use it. Wouldn't forced love be less valuable than actual genuine love from someone coming to love you on their own volition? I mean, if you
Well,
Yes,
not if
which
you
is why,
make
again-
the person to do that.
Yeah. But again, yes, that's true. Which is why, again, none of us are actually asking for that. But here's the thing. So
No, but if you created people so that like they can only thrive if they're in a relationship with you, and you've made them that way, that's not free will. That's just gross. That's just manipulation,
right?
for that deity's benefit.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there's a pretty common example used.
So he
in,
doesn't
like,
feel bad about being in a relationship with us. It's just weird.
yeah. All right, so here's a common example that's brought up a lot in the whole like free will. Can you actually have a choice in this situation? Thing is like, okay, if like a mugger is mugging you and like asks for your wallet and like has a gun to your head and says like, give me your wallet or I'm going to shoot you in the head. I don't know if they actually say that or if it's pretty obvious what they mean. They probably don't have to actually say it.
Black and white movie, they do. Give me your wallet. See.
All right, I'll shoot you in the head. See. So, yes, I did see that you started following us on Twitch. I got the little email notification. So, thanks, Spooky. So, if anyone else wants to follow us on Twitch, maybe we're going to become huge on Twitch now. What's that?
Spooky's the first, I think.
Hmm.
Are the bots following us?
Good on you.
I have no idea.
But okay, so in that situation with the mugger, whether or not he's explicitly saying, "Give me your wallet, or I'll shoot you in the face," or whatever. Okay, you could make the argument. Okay, well, he's still technically giving you the choice. Like you still could choose not to give him your wallet and accept the consequences of being shot in the head. But most people would the way they would describe that situation is like he is forcing you to give him your wallet. So how much more so in this situation of Christianity that Cameron has apparently captured and is trying to present to us, God is basically saying, love me or you will go to hell. How is that not coercion?
That's why I think about like the successful apologists gotta be a little sociopathical, because to really sell that, to like, you have to not see it or be okay with it, and that's just
it's like neither of those sound appealing or flattering. But yeah, so if just the threat of being shot or even like lesser things like like even just when it comes to like disciplining your kids, it's like you say like, okay, if you don't do this, you're going to be punished thusly. And so they still might say, oh, dad's forcing me to do this. It's like, so even in that situation, like, so how much more so, like, how can you say that choosing to love God is a free choice and you're not being forced if the consequence is being tortured for eternity?
that's just obedience. That's not love.
Yeah. How is that a choice? So they just have it so completely backwards where they're accusing us of not wanting a choice, but what they're presenting is a choice, but it's the complete opposite. We're the ones actually asking for a choice, an informed choice. All I'm saying is, like, I'm not asking for God to force me to love him, but though, if going to heaven and not being tortured forever requires my free will being taken away, then I'm like, yes, please take it away. If that's what it actually takes. But no, what all we're asking for is I just want to know for sure that he exists. I want to be presented with a clear depiction of what the situation is. If I do this, I go here. If I don't, or if I do something else, I go there. And this is what each of these places are going to be like. Now, choose. That is all I'm asking. But what Christianity and people like Cameron are presenting is like, no, you do have a choice, but if you don't choose the right thing, you're going to be tortured forever. So enjoy your free will choice that you're not being forced or coerced into. Isn't it great?
Also, did I mention I think fascism's okay?
And also, didn't we explain now how completely obvious all of this is as well, and that you're stupid for not seeing it? It's like,
it's not free will. It's just an informed choice. I know you can't have a choice without there being free will, but I think
yeah,
the experience.
hey, you learn something new every day. So, all right.
Think about it. Would a relationship based on a love serum be love at all? The answer is clearly no. The second reason shines light on the unthinkable.
Okay, so all that to say, like, look, God had to give us the possibility of going to hell forever because he couldn't just give us the good thing.
We wouldn't know how awesome he was.
Right?
And that's what's important, is everybody know how awesome he is. You know who else does that and why it makes complete sense. He's president now. They elected the caricature of their God. Wants blind obedience, but you have the choice. You're just cast in outer darkness.
And all right, so I just thought of an example. It's a little gross, but
who talks about how great he is all the time? Like it's
right. Yeah. So you're a dad. I'm a dad. And so we're familiar with the like having kids like before they're potty trained and like wearing diapers and us needing to change said diapers, but also them being at the phase where they can't explicitly tell us in words, I need to have my diaper changed. But so it's as if, but by this logic, it's like, no, we need to let them tell us and like make the choice, like to tell us like, I want you to change my diaper because I'm having a bad time right now with this shit literally just strapped to me.
Look, I got a lot going on right now.
But no, like we don't do that. Like we don't wait for them to specifically ask. Because one, like for a lot of that time, they don't even have the verbal or mental capacity to actually express that in words. All they can do is just cry. And we're just, but here's what we do. It's like, we recognize that even though they don't have the words to express it, to actually make the choice to ask us to do a thing, all we have to do is recognize that, oh, our kid's in some distress. It's probably this. Here's a thing I can do to relieve that distress from them.
Yeah, probably want to do that because I'm a good person.
Right. But from Mr. Bertuzzi's logic here, it's almost like God is looking down. It's like, nope, I got to wait for them to ask. It's like, it's not enough for God to just apparently just look down on his children and see that because this is what Christians will say. If we're not in a relationship with God, then our life is terrible. We are in distress. We're so lost without him, but it's not enough for him to just look down on us and in the pathetic situation that we're in and how much we're struggling to just on his own, just reach down and pull us out of it. Just like if we're just like looking at our kid crying because they shit their pants and we're just like, oh, I just got to let them sit in it. And then they got to get to the point where they can ask me of their own free will. And then they'll really appreciate what I did for them because they chose it. It's like, what the?
Why does God care how much he's appreciated in order to help someone?
And also,
like
and also, if he was as great as they present him, and so obviously great, why would it even be possible for us not to appreciate him?
Yeah.
How could that be a thing?
Because people are the big dumb and the big sin, Tommy.
Right, in which apparently sin is more powerful than God's power to be appealing and whatever.
But that's why somebody had the vision in the Book of Revelation, because that's how that dissonance gets fixed. This dissonance, Jesus comes back, looking like the worst parts of humanity, and fixes everything. With the people wine press.
And for some reason, my brain went dissonance nuts, Jesus, even though that didn't really work. But
it's super weird that the dead guy had to come back to crush some more dead people in a wine press, so it flows out, and
right.
It seems like there's got to be an easier answer. It's like the spiritual Rube Goldberg machine.
Right.
God had to sacrifice himself to himself to solve the problem that wasn't really solved until later, when he was going to come back again as a more badass version and solve it with killing.
Yeah, but real quick, vamp a little bit. I gotta do a thing. Be back in a few seconds.
That thing that you said before about waiting until they're asked. I was watching a clip today, and our president, whose name I'm not saying for a reason, because apparently things get tagged on YouTube as don't show these to people when you say certain words together. He was saying, I just really just want, all they have to do, the people of Chicago, all they need to do is admit how bad it is and ask me to come in and save them. He goes, I don't want to just come in and save them. It would be much better if they ask first.
I mean, sure, he would do it in DC, but whatever.
Well, if he did it anywhere else, it would be a legit invasion. Because there's a legal framework for it to happen in DC. Some of that framework is bullshit and was never a good idea, but other parts of it make sense. But yeah, if the National Guard goes into Chicago, that is a legit invasion. If the governor, and the governor did say you may not, which is a strong stance, because that means that we might have the first federal versus state troop stalemate. Because if you may not, and he's serious about that, then that means he activates the state National Guard, and it's their job to get in the way of federal agents coming in.
And so we may have our first actual big instance of someone invoking states' rights for not a racist reason.
Right.
So that'd be good.
Right. It sounds better.
Yeah.
Than the last time. Also,
and the time before that, and
doesn't that sound like a potential Lexington and Concord moment?
Ooh.
We don't know who fired first. All we know is shit hit the fan for several years. Also, super weird. The most patriotic people, in quotes, are some of the least rebellious, when that is literally how the country started.
Oh yeah,
rebellion against authority. Now we're authority is best.
Yeah, I actually had in college an American history professor who made the point. He's like, the people who we nowadays consider the most patriotic, flag waving, pro America Americans.
Yesterday's Tories.
It's in that. Those type of people, back in the 1770s, would have been the ones on the side of the British.
Yeah, they're still called Tories in Britain. That party.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. Anyway, all right.
What happened to Glenn Beck? My goodness, that's all I have to say about that.
I don't even know, and I'm fine with that.
I got back on their email list. They revived their old email list. I used to be on there because. Poor me.
Yeah. Well, hey, I was there too. Yeah.
And, I was like, fuck off with this.
All the way off, actually. All right. So let's get back to Cameron here. Let's find out why else this it just had to be this way. There was literally no better way to do any of this.
we love it all? The answer is clearly no. The second reason shines light on the unthinkable goodness of what Jesus did on the cross for us. I mean,
Yeah, just like being executed, that's like the most unthinkable, goodest thing ever. Like, I can't think of anything better, right?
Or it's a rationalization for your cult leader being killed.
Cognitive dissonance is a hell of a drug. Yeah.
I mean, sacrificing yourself for like your loved ones or people that love you back is a really, really fantastic good. But sacrificing yourself for people that reject you and don't want anything to do with you, like, can you even imagine a greater act of love than that? And if you can't,
I mean, I can imagine not setting things up so that had to be that way.
Also, not letting the people do that to you who are doing it to you, because that's a horrible thing to do. You are letting those people be horrible.
Yeah, that's
You're
not
letting them
loving.
be worse versions of themselves.
Yeah. So again, like, don't lose sight of the fact that, like, we're saying, like, well, Jesus had to die to pay the price for this thing. Like, God's the one who set this system up the way to work this way to begin with. Like, that's, again, okay, let's go back to the parenting thing. It's like, if I were to tell my kids, like, look, I brought this, like, food into the house that's poisoned. Like, you eat it, like, you're gonna die. Like, that's all there is to it. But and I know, like, you kids really want to eat it, but I'm telling you, you're gonna die if you do. But hey, I tell you what. Instead, I'm gonna eat it, and I'm gonna die instead of you. Isn't
like,
that just the
"Stop
most
it, you crazy
loving?
person."
Yeah, isn't that just the most loving thing I could possibly do?
That you could ever do.
I know. I mean, my kids should love me so much for that.
And they should get into heaven for it.
Right? Oh, and also, it's not actually going to kill me. I'll just feel, like, really bad for a few days, but then I'll be, like, good as new.
All of this makes the most sense.
The mostest.
Can you imagine how frustrating this is to Jewish people at the time who are watching this happen? They're like, no, Abraham and Isaac, that's the story basically of when, it's like the account of when, like, we as a culture stopped killing children as a sacrifice to our God. Like, that's when we decided it was bad, and now here's a story that says it was bad.
Well, except for like what was that guy's name? Not Japheth. The guy in Judges who, like, before he was about to go out to battle, promised God, "Hey, if you let me win, I'll sacrifice the first thing I see when I come home."
And then he had to kill his daughter, right?
Yeah, what was his name? I'm totally blanking it. Spooky. Whoever else is still in the chat, let me know what that guy's name was.
Yeah, so that feels like a little bit of a reconciliation that the sacrifices started happening again. They're like, I guess sometimes it's okay. And then it's really not a thing anymore, and it's considered gross and disgusting. We never do that. And then there's these Christians who are like, right, but God had to kill the best person, like a lamb, and but it's also him. But not all of us think it's him.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, just try to picture this if it actually were to play out this way, you know, similar to, like, the example of, like, me and my kids. But imagine just like have the whole, like, story condensed, that, like, in the one little soliloquy, if you will, of, like, Jesus, like, coming down to earth, like, look, everyone. So I'm God, but also I'm a dude, and that's God. Say hi, God. Sends a dove.
And I cried out to myself, why have I forsaken me?
Right. It's like, right, but look, okay, here's Jephthah. Thank you, Spooky, for jogging my memory there. I knew it was close to Japheth, but yeah, Jephthah, his daughter. Yeah, look that up. So fucked up. Because a lot of people will say, well, this is supposed to be like a cautionary tale. This is why you don't promise things to God rashly like that. And it's like, okay, but at no point in that story did God ever say, hey, maybe don't do that. Like, because if God was really that hardcore against child sacrifice, he would have stepped in and say, hey, don't promise me that. Or maybe God could have just caused a goat to run out of his house ahead of his daughter or something. Like, anyway. So, but imagine. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, there's a certain person that, like, you and I both know that I could picture going through with the sacrifice of their child if they were Abraham and God didn't show up. And that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful.
Yeah. Yep.
But you gotta love the Lord more than your kids, which is the best way for your species to survive.
Yes, love the thing that doesn't exist more than your offspring. And anyway, so just imagine this, like, you know, Jesus comes down and like condenses the whole story into one little presentation. Here's like, look, the way I / him / also me set this whole thing up is if even one of you messed up at all, you all deserve to go to hell. It's like, yeah, that was by my design.
Punishment.
Right. That's how we set it up. This was our idea. But just because we love you so much, instead of just not setting it up that way, I'm going to choose to submit myself to the rules of the system I made up, where instead of you dying a horrible death and going to hell forever, I mean, some of you still may die horrible deaths. I mean, I couldn't do anything about that because, hey, what you going to do, right?
All for my glory.
Right. But after you die, instead of going to hell forever, I'm going to choose to take that punishment that I invented as a thing that needed to happen. And everyone's like, oh, you're going to go to hell forever? Well, no. It's just going to be for a few days. But it's like there's that whole aspect of like, did Jesus really take our punishment? If our punishment was supposed to be an eternity in hell and he was only there for a couple days, maybe, and then like right now is back in heaven. It sounds like he didn't actually take our punishment.
Infinitely good. He only needed to be in hell briefly because, you know, like the infinite goodness, that short little bit in hell was like infinite suffering, and because math or something.
Yeah, but in that case, wouldn't he only need to be there for like not even a femtosecond? If it's infinite good, like why did he need to be there for days? Like that doesn't make sense. But anyway, but imagine Jesus.
If you're Catholic, then there's purgatory, which is like neither heaven nor hell, but there's like a little bit of a penance thing happening. So it's not like quite hell, but it's just like you're under a warming light at the diner for a bit until you sort your shit out.
That would be a better idea, as bizarre and horrible as it is. But like, is this making sense? Like, it's like,
I mean, yes, but no, because this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like another analogy is like a teacher just coming up like with us like just the most insane, stupid punishment, like as a form of discipline in their class. It's like, right, if any of you like turns in your homework late, I'm going to make everyone in the class eat dog poop. It's like. And they're like, why though? It's like, well, it's okay. I'll eat it instead. Don't you love me so much? They're like, no, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, that's basically what we're being told.
Like, where are we and how do we get out?
that's what we're being told is like this entity, this God who came up with these stupid rules, decided to subjugate himself to the ridiculous punishment that he invented instead of us, and we're all like, well, okay.
He has a martyr complex. It just makes complete sense why Christians are the way they are. Like, they're just like their God, who doesn't make sense and is a little genocidal and a little bit racist. And
yeah.
The whole we're just like, punishment thing is considered a war crime if a person does it,
right?
If you do it,
no, but we're just like, oh, you want to subject yourself to this ridiculous punishment that you came up with? Yeah, sure, go off. It's like, have at it. We can still go to heaven, right? It's like, well, only if you think this was the awesomest thing ever, and you invite me, the clearly insane person, to be your bestest bud.
Yeah, all you gotta do is believe you're the worst and I'm the best. Because that's for your good. Because I'm the best.
Clearly. Oh, so fucking ridiculous.
It just sounds like leftover evolutionary thinking.
Weird, right?
I have the penis, so
And like, if you can,
What's that?
It's just like the patriarchy. It matches the patriarchy concept. It's like, I have the penis, therefore I'm the best. It's like, your organs on the outside. How is that best?
They're more vulnerable. Anyway.
think of a greater act of love, I seriously want to see it. Like, write it down in the comments and let me know.
A greater act of love? Like, yeah, like, this is something, I think I first saw this video, it was being reacted to by Viced Rhino. And his example, and like what I mentioned before, is like, yeah, I can think of a greater act of love, like if Jesus actually did legit take the punishment that we are apparently supposed to have, which is an eternity in hell. That would have been a lot more loving, like an actual self-sacrifice that wasn't going to end. Just be like,
yeah, I'll go there and stay there so no one else ever has to go there. Like, that would be better.
Yeah. Or, and hear me out, maybe like not setting those conditions,
right?
Not making that the way things work, and I don't know, maybe do something like just create everyone in heaven, like the title of your fucking video says, dude.
I mean, going there and saying there's nobody else has to ever go there, that's like the best of a bad situation, but why the bad situation? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like so much of this, like without consciously saying it or thinking it most of the time, but like Christians basically present God as if he has parameters. Like there's only certain things he can do. It's like given this situation, as if he didn't create all of reality literally from scratch, including how everything works and what all the consequences and all the systems and everything would be. It's almost like he just happened upon this horrible, chaotic situation and did his best to like Rube Goldberg the fucking solution into all of it because he's so smart. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe just make it so it doesn't get fucked up like this so easily to begin with.
And made
I don't know.
Free will that he can't violate. Even though he made
it. I mean, because think about like, because people talk about intelligent design. God's such a great designer. It's like, okay, which like kind of design sounds better to you? Like a designer who designs something that just always works every time, like never any flaws, or the designer who he designs something and like literally minutes later, like shit just starts going catastrophic and he keeps having to come up with solutions to fix everything like every 5 fucking seconds.
Yeah,
but they're like, oh, look how quickly he comes up with solutions for his own fuck ups. Isn't he such a great designer? And it's like,
yeah. Well, see, you're not thinking about, like hustle culture, and you got to have that entrepreneurial spirit. You gotta break things to make things.
So fucking stupid. All right, we're not even halfway through this bullshit, so let's just for the sake of me remembering what the fuck he's talking about, let's back him up a little bit.
Like, can you even imagine a greater act of love than that? And if you can, like, if you can think of a greater act of love, I seriously want to see it. Like, write it down.
Okay, the fact that he can't, which here's the thing, I'm sure he actually can, but he's just not letting himself. Like, he has to think that he can't.
And
so
I can't hear this any other way than just he's trying to drive engagement. It lacks sincerity to me.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he says this at least once every video with like this like similar tone of voice. So I think I've heard this before.
Yeah. So speaking of which, if you think this sounds like trying to drive engagement, let us know in the comments. Like, what do you think?
comment in the comments, and I'll never respond to it ever in any kind of form, except maybe I'll give you like that little pinned comment logo.
Yeah. Oh, but as far as like our stuff, I do try to like respond in comments whenever I'm on, but I will say for like the little short video I released over the weekend, I had like one or two people like comment with just like paragraphs. And
does it make you wonder if that's AI or not?
No, I don't think it was, but I think one of the people may have been Muslim, but I don't remember all of it. Part of it is like
I did catch that.
It's like you just like said so much. I don't remember if I actually responded at all, but all I could really think of to respond was like, okay, there is so much in there that I disagree with, or is just so demonstrably wrong. I don't even know where to begin. So I love having conversation and like back and forth, but what I do not enjoy is like having to read your novel and then try to respond point by point by point, because I know if I do try to respond, but if I miss something, it's always going to be like, oh, you didn't have a response to this. It's like, yeah, dude, because ADHD and demand avoidance. Fuck off.
Yeah, so, and I don't.
I mean, thanks for your engagement. Yeah.
Does it seem rude or self-focused or something when you have a video that like doesn't cover quite that much? You know, like it's more narrowed in its focus than somebody's response that has like paragraphs and paragraphs about all these things. And you're like, I said a little, and you're like, but all of this. And you're like, didn't talk about all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just an interesting way to have a conversation.
To put it mildly. No.
That's why it feels a little like AI, because it kind of feels like somebody just like talking to the void. Just saying something because it feels good to say it.
Yeah. Though I have probably been guilty of that on multiple occasions as well, but yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to Cameron and his complete lack of imagination on how anything could possibly be more loving than this like just insane bullshit system that God invented.
In the comments and let me know. But notice that none of this can happen, what Jesus did on the cross. It can't happen without the existence of sin. Jesus can't save us or sacrifice himself for us if we don't need any saving. And so
which is why, on a regular basis, I release an entire bag of cobras into my house and put my kid's life in danger, and then go around and round up all the cobras again and remove them from the house. And see, if I hadn't put all these cobras in the house, then I couldn't have saved you from the cobras that I put there. Don't you love me so much now? Like,
also our president. That's exactly. Look at this problem I made that I solved. Look how many wars I've stopped that I started. I should get like Peace Prize.
Or even if he's not saying like just how many things where he's called back, oh, who hired this person, or who signed this agreement, oh, yeah. And then you go back, oh, it was actually him.
I think that's like the dementia right there.
Oh yeah, I mean he is. Yeah, anyone who thinks that he is fully in his right mind and is just like peak mental lucidity,
you're unreachable. Like, first of all,
yeah, you probably think you are as well.
And here's the good news, bad news. It looks like his health is severely declining. He showed up in a press conference wearing a hat and no makeup the other day. I was like, oh, he's not doing well.
Yeah.
But as narcissists are on their way out health-wise, they start to get even more ruthless because they're like, if I can't have it, nobody can, that kind of thinking. If I have to go out, I'm taking you all with me. So shit's about to get more wild in America. Like he literally said, I think just today, or it was yesterday, he's like, I'm the president. I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
And so that's what's happening now.
Well, I mean, the Supreme Court essentially agreed with him a while back, but
yeah.
But unrelated note, just gonna like toss this out there. So like, Americans, like, we have a pretty like good history and tradition, you might say, of like
Yes.
celebrating the deaths of like fascists and dictators and authoritarian assholes. Like we typically think of that as a good thing. So I'm like, man, when we get a good like death of a fascist someday, like a lot of times when certain like when politicians we like die, there's a whole like or something that we think is terrible happens. We put like flags at half mast. That's kind of our thing. But I'm like, man, when some like just fucking fascist like kicks it, and we're like, man, like I'm thinking like the opposite. Like, can you do like make the flags higher? Like maybe like flags at one and a half mast. Is
maybe
that
put
a
up
thing?
another flag?
Yeah, can we do that? Like just putting that out there. Totally unrelated to anything we're talking about, but yeah, just a thought that occurred to me. So anyway,
Cartoonishly evil. That's us, our country.
Speaking of cartoonish,
What I'm doing here is I'm actually summarizing a Theodicy by Christian philosopher Alvin Plantinga. It's called O Felix Culpa. And if you want...
so Alex, so a Theodicy that actually answers questions, like by this guy Alvin Plantinga. What part of the Bible did he write? Where was this in the sacred scriptures, or when did Jesus express this? Like when
he must have been Jesus' scribe, and he's been alive for all these centuries.
This is the guy that Jesus was talking about when he's like, some people here won't taste death until I come back.
Right.
That's Alvin. He's
right.
He's the
he
guy.
Also wrote like Mark and Matthew and Luke. He wrote it down, but like people told him what to say.
Right.
Mark told him what to say, and then Matthew's like, I really like that, but like, could you also say this? And
yeah. Also, even though I was so excited to tell the story about when I met Jesus, but I thought you said it so well. So instead of writing it from my own perspective, I'm going to copy your version because it's just so good.
Except for like the birth of Jesus, that's going to be a little different.
Yeah. And also, we can have different versions of like pretty much all the important stuff, like his birth and like his death and his resurrection and who saw him when after he came back to life. That can all be different, right? Yeah, cool. All right, it was all Alvin's fault. That's what I'm hearing. So
the link to that, it's actually in the description. There's a whole article on this. All right, so the third reason is that heaven,
a whole article.
So he's not even going to go into it. He's just be like, well, the answer is what this guy said. Moving on.
Not a scripture passage. Not a teaching from a rabbi or a prophet, like no direct word or revelation from God. An article from some dude named Alvin.
Yeah,
all right.
A single human brain is what we needed.
Mm-hmm. So reason 3. I love it already.
has a lot of great goods, but so does a world with suffering. And since God wasn't forced to choose one over the other, he created a world that has both. And
this is garbage. Since nobody made him, he had both. Since God was unrestrained, he created suffering.
But like, why?
No, that's the wrong question. You're supposed to go, oh, that's all you're supposed to do.
But I feel like this is deserving of a...
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching this earlier, this one like really took me aback. I'm like,
sure.
Are you serious?
But heaven has more great goods than a world with suffering. But since God wasn't forced to choose one over the other, he created... It's just kind of like restating the problem, in a way.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. God also wasn't forced to not make a choice. He still could have chose to just make heaven.
It sounds like he's just like repeating the problem of evil, and with more words that don't mean anything.
Apologetics. So, but let's hear what he actually has to say.
This immediately raises a really interesting question. What types of goods could come out of a world with suffering?
Oh,
One that
yeah.
I like to think about a lot is called what I'll call character development. Put simply, suffering aids in building our character.
This is the soul-making Theodicy that
Instead
Mr.
of
B was
first
talking
world
about.
white person. You see Africa. All that slavery built up your character. That's why you're so great. Today, that's why you're so great. It's because of our cruelty.
Yep. Or you see, like all the indigenous folk of all the places we colonized throughout the centuries and millennia.
We're just trying to improve things.
Yep, we're building your character,
which is that's the exact ideology of colonialism.
Yeah, I mean, look, we schmenicide because we love. That's
for we so loved the world. We gave our
That
only
we-
begotten Orange Man. So you're welcome, world.
Yeah. Okay, but again, yes, in the system as it is, certain degrees of suffering can build character. But setting aside all the like gratuitous levels of suffering that even if they might build character, a lot of times don't, or even if they would build character, the person undergoing the suffering doesn't survive long enough to build that character. Again, like, who designed it so you could not build that character without this kind of suffering? Who set this system up?
Yeah.
And now we're supposed to thank them for it.
When someone hurts us or causes us to suffer,
But didn't kill you, almost killed you.
Yeah. Yeah, or as my older brother said as we were growing up, like, that which does not kill you can at worst maim.
That's like positive spin on a bad version.
Yep.
suffering aids in building our character. When someone hurts us or causes us to suffer, for example, we're given the opportunity to forgive them. And it's really up to us, as long as you...
Well, how gracious they are to give us the opportunity to forgive them.
Yeah. Oh, good for them. Good for the person doing this shit to me that I can now be nice to them. Like,
it's moments like these that make me feel sorry for his friends.
Oh.
Honey, I gave you the opportunity to forgive me. Like, that's a great opportunity for you to be more like Jesus.
Right?
Look how great I am in your suffering.
All right. Also, just out of curiosity here, I'm just checking because I'm wondering if this might be an issue on Facebook as well, where we're not seeing those comments. So I'm just curious if there's anyone watching there who's leaving like a bunch of comments that we're not seeing.
Oh.
So, I mean, but I wouldn't be surprised if not, because we just haven't, nothing on there. But yeah, our interactions on Facebook haven't really been much of a thing. We still have a few of our friends, Daniel. We haven't seen Daniel in a while. He's like one of our top fans on Facebook. Anyway,
who's that?
Is it Daniel or the guy who has the link to the Kremlin on his profile?
Oh, Winsky. I don't remember his first name.
Why am I thinking it's Daniel? I have no idea why. Anyway,
I'll remember.
Please come back. That's all right, Spooky. You can stay on Twitch, and hopefully next week this whole like YouTube comments not showing up thing will be not a thing, and we can get back to normal. But
yeah, Facebook feels a lot like Walmart. It's just like generally a sad place.
I mean, I try to liven it up a bit. I mean, that's honestly where I'm personally most active. But then again, I am old, so all right. So let's see. So all right. Oh, so this is all about like how. Oh, see, evil. We need like evil and suffering because then that gives us an opportunity to be nice to people. Apparently,
We're given the opportunity to forgive them. And it's really up to us, as long as you think we have free will, it's really up to us if we decide to do that. And so the way that we respond to suffering.
Okay, but can you forgive people of things that are like less than like things that cause suffering? Like, aren't there still things that people can do to you that wrong you? Like, if this is actually some important principle where we need to develop this talent of forgiving people, which also, by the way, like, if God just didn't create evil or the capacity for it to begin with, then we would have no need to develop this character trait of being able to forgive because there'd just be nothing to forgive. But setting that aside, like, I can just learn to forgive people of, like, stealing one of my Twinkies or like accidentally stepping on my toe or like shit like that. But like again, going this just because it happened today, the story of what happened in Minnesota. It's like, do the parents of those children like was the only way for them to learn forgiveness is for this to happen to their children, and now they get the opportunity to forgive those people.
What a great blessing for them.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I wouldn't say that to him now, but maybe in the future when it's healed a little bit, and then they can realize what a great. This is such sickness.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, because it's like when they say this shit, they only have like. I guess I can't really say necessarily what they have in mind, but it's as if they don't have these like actual real world, real suffering examples in mind when they just give these glib little, where you can learn forgiveness from this, or you can learn whatever bullshit from this. It's like,
there are people though that like somebody could say this to them, like, what gives you the opportunity to forgive the person that attacked and all, and people would be like, yeah, I know, like, that is such a big deal, and like I get to know more about how Jesus was forgiving everyone while he was on the cross and shit. And it's like some people aren't thinking about real world things when they say this, but like some people are, and they try to lean into this when they're going through terrible stuff like that, and it just robs people of grief. It's such a hateful thing to do.
Yeah, robs them of grief, like robs them of just fully feeling all the feelings and emotions that they're having in situations like this, and making them feel like, no, this is how I need to be responding. It's like, no, you're like,
and the pain that we have as you guys, that's part of our send off for them. Like, that's part of letting go is,
like anyone going through something like this, you do not tell them how to react. Just period. But
there are a lot of Christians who want someone to tell them something and believe they can't get through it on their own until some kind of nugget of wisdom or robs you of free will.
But I understand like that feeling, but it's also okay to tell that person, like, no, that like if they really need that nugget of wisdom, like, here it is, like, feel what you're feeling, respond how you're responding, think what you're thinking. Like, that's the nugget of wisdom you need for this. At least that's all I got for you. But yeah, so but against what I'm feeling right now and what it feels like Cameron is driving me to, I am switching to the non-alcoholic beer now. So I feel like if I keep going with the real stuff right now, I'm gonna be hurting in the morning. But or maybe I should, because that's a form of suffering, and that can teach me to forgive this asshole.
Hangovers are of the Lord.
Right? I mean, that's what I'm learning right now. It's like, yeah, like I need to let douchebags like this guy like drive me to drinking so much that I'll be hungover in the morning, so then I can suffer through that and learn to forgive him, even though I won't. But
that like reminds me of like Rasputin. That was one of the ways he wormed his way into the upper class. Is he's like, no, you should sin on purpose. Get it out of your system. And it's kind of what Cameron is saying is horrendous sins are an opportunity for forgiveness. Isn't that great? Doesn't that completely validate all the horrible things people do? My word, is so surprising that people in the clergy would abuse children. Their theology is so different.
Imagine that.
What a great opportunity for those children to, grow in forgiveness and towards the Lord.
Yeah. And also like because the whole like soul building theology, like all those like little children who had to go through this, see, they wouldn't have been ready for heaven without this. They wouldn't have been able to fully appreciate it, because God isn't good enough on his own for us to realize how awesome he is. We have to have all this shit to compare him to, which that's, now that I think about it, like that's what you do when you're actually not very good, but you want people to think you are. You have to like put yourself like in comparison to all this like horrendous bullshit, and then people will think you're good.
Also, our president.
Man, so applicable, man.
I mean, it was. He's the best our collective algorithm in the United States had to offer. Probably the first president elected because the algorithm liked it. Like it drove outrage content, it drove like praise content, and it was what we are most afraid of, and that's what you engage with on social media the most, typically.
Unfortunately,
and the other side got this mindset where like, well, if they're flipping out and they're angry, that means I'm doing a good thing because I want to wreck what they're doing. So if they're all up in a huff, I did a good thing. Or you're doing awful things and they're upset for good reason, not just because you're on the other side.
Nah, that can't be it. Well, speaking of horrible things to suffer through,
Bertuzzi.
And this life
Bertucci
really does form our character in really
it's Bertuzzi with the Z's.
Okay.
Yeah.
significant ways. King David, for example, wouldn't have been the same person had he not faced Goliath. In Romans,
this is something else that Vice Rhino brought up when he covered this. Oh, David wouldn't be the same person. Oh, you mean the person who, like, committed adultery with a dude's wife and then got her pregnant, and to cover it up had him intentionally killed,
right?
And then lied.
Crimes to cover up other crimes.
It's like, man, you're telling me he wouldn't have been that dude had it not been for, like, again, like the challenge. Like, it wasn't even suffering for him, like fighting Goliath. He literally just like walked up to him, said, "Hey, fuck you," and threw a rock at him, and he died. Like that. Like,
well, in that version, but then there's another version where it wasn't David who killed him. North and South Kingdom, you know?
Oh, yes.
Judah and what's the other one?
Well, it was Israel and Judah.
Yeah.
Or Israel and Judah. Yeah, Judah was the southern kingdom. Yeah.
So, yeah, which David?
Right. But yeah, great argument. Yeah.
Romans 5, Paul says this: "We rejoice in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope.
How does character produce hope? I don't understand. Hope seems like pretty like endemic to people, period, of any character.
Yeah. Or like with or without character. Like,
Right, yeah.
people just hope for things, especially when things are super. So it's almost like suffering produces hope, because like it seems like for most people, like all you really need is like just to be in this bad situation, and then okay, now I have hope that this won't be bad anymore. Like before you develop perseverance or before you develop character or whatever. Like these are so.
Wait, so you think if
So
people
again-
get rich enough, they lose hope and then start to see themselves as hope? That's how character builds hope.
Yeah. But again, we have the apologists like, oh, in order to like respond to the question from atheists and skeptics and non-believers, well, here's some Bible verses. Like, I almost want to get a T-shirt now that says like, Bible verses aren't arguments. Like, those are the claims.
But look here in there also it says this other person said.
Oh, look, this person who was trying to convince people that he was right about stuff has some things to say about why he's right about stuff. It's like, oh, okay.
In that collection of literature that was probably assembled with those specific things because they were the most in agreement with each other.
Right. Man. But we know that this is the case. This is how things work. We know that. Because some dude wrote it in a letter to not us. He wasn't talking to us, but we're going to still internalize his words to other people thousands of years ago.
Produces perseverance, character, and character, hope. James expresses a similar sentiment in the first chapter of his epistle. Consider it pure.
Oh, so another dude does the same thing. Isn't that even more convincing? Like,
joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything.
See, and doesn't this sound like exactly what you would say if you're trying to develop and propagate this religion, which when you start noticing like, hey, people are starting to like not believe it and notice that there's like no real evidence for it, and they're like doubting it, and they're wondering like, hey, is this really true? Like, we're going through some shit, but like nothing seems to be improving. God's not coming to help us. Like, oh, I know. When you're facing some like trials and stuff, like that's there to test your faith.
And faith is great, but have you heard about perseverance? That's even better. So when your faith is tested, even if you lose it, stick with it, because perseverance makes you perfect. Which is also what you would think if you were a species trying to survive in the evolutionary world. Persevere, because then you're made perfect. Why are you perfect? Because you survived.
Man, it's almost like there's a natural explanation for almost all this bullshit. It's weird.
And we can
So the Bible confirms that suffering builds character. But now some other questions.
Okay, no, the Bible doesn't confirm that suffering builds character. It asserts that suffering builds character.
But that assertion is also proof.
It's confirmation. Like, maybe that should be another T-shirt idea. Assertions aren't confirmations.
But I feel it in my feelings.
Facts don't care about your feelings, Cameron.
Arise. Like, what happens to children in childbirth? Right? They don't have the opportunity to build their character.
Well, usually children in childbirth are born. I'm assuming he means children who die in childbirth. But here, I'll back up.
And also, kind of like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, they didn't have a chance to grow their character. First big mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else is fucked, including you forever. And
yeah. But now because of you, everyone else can build their character.
But childbirth is different.
Right? All right, so I backed him up a little. Let's
Affirms that suffering builds character. But now some other questions arise. Like, what happens to children in childbirth? right? They don't have the opportunity to build their characters. Well, it's true that children that die young aren't really given the opportunity to build their character on Earth. There's no real good reason to think that character building suddenly stops in heaven. But if suffering...
But if that's the case, if we can still...
to thank heaven.
But if it is true that heaven exists and we can still build our character in heaven, then that completely destroys your argument of why it's necessary to build our character here on Earth. If you're saying we can do it there, then what the fuck is the point of here?
He's going off script a little bit here.
Yeah, which, again, this is another instance of, so here's my answer for this situation, but then you find, like, a rebuttal for it. It's like, well, here's an answer for that. Never mind how this answer just completely destroys the answer I gave earlier. Just view, like, all you're supposed to see is I answered everything you said, and that's all that matters. Like, fucking hell, man.
can go on in heaven, you might think, then why not just create everyone in heaven? I mean, it seems like we're back at square one here, but this is all just way.
It seems that way because we fucking are.
Is he just gonna go? But this is all way yada yada yada. Is he gonna? Is that what he's gonna hand wave it away?
I actually don't remember, but yeah, let's find it.
Create everyone in heaven. I mean, it seems like we're back at square one here, but this is all just way too quick. On Christianity, the suffering.
What?
This is way too quick? What?
Are you saying like they jumped ahead to the right question too fast? What's happening?
Here, I want to back him up again just to make sure I'm getting this here.
Is he saying his video is too
then
short
why not just
right now? This is all way too quick. So I have a few more minutes.
Yeah, that's when he was looking down at his runtime. He's like, "Oh, this is way too quick."
create everyone in heaven. I mean, it seems like we're back at square one here, but this is all just way too quick. On Christianity, the suffering that we experience on earth will ultimately be defeated in the afterlife. So it's not a matter of God having to...
What?
Unless you suffer forever. How is it defeated in the afterlife? Because some people, it won't be. He's
yeah, but if it's not, that's your fault.
This is a universalist kind of response, but he's not that.
Yeah. So
ultimately be defeated in the afterlife. So it's not a matter of God having to choose like one over the other. Evil is defeated either way. And it's also important to note that the character development...
Okay, again, he's like, God didn't have to choose one or the other. Okay, but he also didn't have to choose both.
It's like, God didn't choose and you can't make him.
It's like, okay, but he still could have chose just the heaven part and we develop our character there without the massive suffering, right?
I haven't heard a response to that yet. Is he gonna is he gonna do that thing now where you say a lot to try to convince people, to get people far enough away from the question you just posed that they forget you're not really answering it? You say something that is like adjacent to an answer, but not an answer.
Yep. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of times when him or other apologists are doing this, I don't even know if they're necessarily doing it on purpose, but it's almost like they're also doing that to themselves. It's like they're making themselves go so far that they don't even realize what the hell they're doing.
No, it's just like reinforce. It's like software reinforcing itself. They don't want to face the potential meaninglessness of everything. Like this is a place to hide. And sometimes they're smarty pants about it, and sometimes they're doing stuff like this, where it seems like they're also part of them is also convincing the other part of them at the same time.
Yep.
While another part is in doubt the whole time.
Yep. Gotta convince yourself. That's for sure.
The other, evil is defeated either way. And it's also important to note that the character development that goes on in heaven is different than the type of character development that goes on Earth.
Do you know?
And it's not that one is like better than the...
Yeah, that's the first question.
You're talking straight out your ass right now, man.
Yeah. So hold on. Yeah. So I want to hear all this whole thought here.
Different than the type of character development that goes on Earth. And it's not that one is like better than the other one. They're just different. As an analogy, it's great that a lot of animals use eyesight to survive, but it's also great that bats use sonar. And it's not that like eyesight is better necessarily than sonar. They're both good.
Dude, what the fuck? Are you still talking to yourself in a...
So
Animal
he's
Planet
basically saying
Incorporated.
he's like, look, we can't just have the one because the other one's different. I'm not saying it's better, but they're different. So we have to have both. But then you're still saying, okay, but if you're still trying to make the argument that you have to have both, then now you're back to not being able to answer why so many, like with the whole like children in childbirth. It's like, okay, but they're only getting the one kind.
You've just duplicated your original problem.
Yeah, it's like you just keep going around in circles. It's like, no, it's okay. There's two different kinds. Well, then why can't we just have the one? Well, we need both. Well, but what about the ones who only get the one kind? Well, it's okay because there's two different kinds. It's like they're not better, but like,
And where are you getting any of this?
Yeah. Oh,
You're not quoting anybody but just the church of your brain right now.
Yeah. Citation fucking needed, dude.
It's just common sense. It needs no citation.
See, but it's okay. He has an argument here because he could say, look, there are other situations where two different things are options. Therefore, it's like, maybe someone that's okay. Yet another T-shirt. Metaphors aren't arguments, or analogies aren't arguments, or whatever. Like,
Can there be rhetorical metaphors?
Well, yeah, there can be. I get, but this is not. This is just saying, like, look, because there are other situations where there are two options and both are fine. Therefore, in this situation, there are two options and both are fine.
Hey.
Even though they're both fine, we can't have people just have the one. Even though they're not one's not better than the other, but some people still have to have the one. But the people who don't have that one, it's still okay because they still have the other one because they're not better than each other. But the other people still need the other one, right? Logic.
In their own unique ways. Like it'd make really little sense to say that since sight and sonar are so different that God shouldn't have created bats. Likewise, character development is...
What the hell is even that?
That's another clip I need to get.
That is, yes. I've mixed metaphors on top of mixing metaphors. I don't...
Yeah, because right now all I got is...
You fucking people.
we now veered into territory. This is just Cameron trying to maintain his happy place, it feels like. Like, he's no longer actually trying to give arguments anymore. He's just like, he hit a point in his thinking where he just needed to rock back and forth and be like, I'm safe. I'm so safe. God is good all the time. God is good. Because there's bats, and then there's other ways of seeing, and
because sight and echolocation exist. Therefore, suffering on Earth must exist.
Or why did God have to create bats or whatever the fuck he said?
Yeah.
So we got seeing and hearing. He's like describing it as like two different kinds of the same thing, but they're both good. Then he describes two different senses and how they're both good. And then goes to like, why did God even create bats or whatever the hell he said? Like, what the hell, man? Your brain is just spinning out.
Yeah, that's like saying like, just because in the same way that some days I eat oranges and other days I eat bananas, in that very same way, some days I work at my job and other days I just go out and just punch hookers all day. See, it's the same thing. because there's a choice over here, then this choice over here makes perfect sense. Like,
that reminds me. Did you ever see the
what does punching hookers remind you of? I'm curious.
Well, did you ever see that thing from Andy Samberg on SNL? Was it one of their digital shorts where it was titled "Punching People Before Eating," and like punching people just before eating, and it'd be showing somebody about to take a bite of something, and he'd like come running in and like clock him, and then you hear "Bow!" and it was like this kind of hip hop synth sound.
I have not seen that. Yeah.
And it's anti-comedy because it doesn't really follow any formula and ends up getting wacky. And yes, but people getting punched right before they take a bite of something is really hilarious. It ends in murder.
What's that?
It ends in murder. It's like punch in the sketch. And then at one point, he just like murders a dude and he goes, murder, and he goes, Pew! And does the same dance.
Cool.
It's absurdist comedy, and I really like it.
Yeah. Therefore, God, or something. So.
Like, it'd make really little sense to say that since sight and sonar are so different, that God shouldn't have created bats. Likewise, character development is...
Yeah, no one's saying that, though. Like,
wait, watch him when can we watch him again when he says that? It looks like he has like a slight glitch while he's talking.
Like, it'd make really little sense to say that since sight and sonar are so different, that God shouldn't have created bats. Likewise, character development is different.
He looks side to side like God should have created... He can't even follow what his own thing he just said.
He's trying, though. God, non-existo blessing.
And he lands it.
That God shouldn't...
Yeah, it's happening right here. Yeah.
Have created bats. Likewise, character development is different on heaven than it is on earth, but that doesn't mean that God shouldn't have created earth. So when you draw...
But see, when you're just saying, okay, some things are different. Okay, again, that's like me saying, like, look, I made my food, I made my kids like healthy food that's good for them. And I also made them poisonous food that will kill them. But in the same way, that bats using echolocation and other animals using their eyes, like, since God made both of those things, then it's okay for me to make good and poisonous food for my children.
And to follow his logic from earlier, if you weren't forced to make a choice between poisoning them and giving them healthy food, then it makes complete sense that you made both.
Right. This is the thing that I even noticed, like, as a Christian, like as a kid, where I'm like, it seems like this happens all the time in sermons, like where pastors will just put analogies in there, but it's almost like just because they feel like they need to have an analogy, and as if that actually makes their point, even if it actually doesn't. The idea seems to be, well, if you can just make an analogy, that'll prove your point. It's like all you got to do is like whatever batshit, whatever thing you're trying to convince people of, just find some other real world example that's somewhat analogous, or just where some sort of similar dichotomy or setup is there. Like, then that'll make it that. It's like, yeah. So, because right here, he's like, what you're saying, like God had to make a choice. Well, he didn't have to make a choice over here. So why are you saying he had to make a choice over here? It's like, because maybe over here, one of the choices is fucking awful, but over here, both the choices are fine. So you can't compare the two.
Is this Cameron admitting that he does bad things unless somebody makes him make a choice to do a good thing?
That could be. That could be.
Would explain a lot.
This question out, like as far as it can go, it doesn't actually lead to the conclusion that God should have created everyone in heaven. Like, that doesn't follow at all.
Because no one is saying that.
No. Yeah,
no one is using your dumb shit analogy to get to, like...
Yeah, because the reason that people think that God should have just created everyone in heaven, this may sound crazy, but the choice between, like, just putting everyone in heaven or putting everyone on earth where everyone will suffer and most people go to hell, I don't know if you realize this, but that has absolutely nothing to do with bats. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Is that why we had to go longer? Because it was too fast. We came. No. That's the question that is sticking. Like, that's a problem question. Now let me take you. Like, have you seen the backyard? It just takes you for like an extra tour around, and then you forget there was anything in the front yard. And
that is exactly
now
it.
he's going to list out all of the gems that he has said, and all of this will show that he's not aware how full of shit he is. Not completely, right? Not always.
So once again, he's trying to. So this whole like questions aren't arguments. That's basically just a defense mechanism. Like, when he comes across a question that actually is a good question, and the fact that he doesn't have a good answer for it is very damning. He's like, "Oh, well, that's not a real argument though, because this is just a question." It's like, so this is something else that Vice Rhino did when he responded to this. He's like, "Okay, well then, the point that this question is getting at, I'll just put it in the form of an argument." So he actually laid out like with a syllogism, like, okay, premise 1, premise 2, therefore. So I encourage people, like, go out, watch like Vice Rhino's video. It's kind of an older and newer video. It's something he's doing recently because people are familiar with Vice Rhino's channel. Like, before, it wasn't like his actual like face on the video. He had like a rhino cartoon character avatar thing. But then, like, over the past couple of years, he started putting his live face on camera. So now he's gone back and like redoing a lot of those older videos, like with his face. So it's one he just put out like really recently, like, within the past couple of days. So go watch that. The syllogism he lays out is like, he's like, okay, Cameron, like, it's like, that is like such a dodge to just say like this perfectly legitimate question. Like, well, it's a question, so it's not an argument. It's like, okay, but there is a point that the question is getting at. And you can absolutely frame that in the form of an argument, but sometimes it's easier to just put it in the form of a question to get you thinking about it and see what you come up with. And it's just as effective as making an argument. And you equally have zero fucking answer for it when no matter which form we put it in.
It's a thought-stopping technique. Somebody has a hard question for you, and then you get to tell yourself, well, questions aren't arguments. So I don't need to take that question seriously.
Yeah. You can just say, oh, that's a good question to wrestle with. I'm like, and that's
wrestle with it.
Yeah. And let it break my dick. And that's, yep.
Got to wrestle with it. And then what? And then God will let you know. What if he doesn't? You just keep wrestling with it forever? It's just character and suffering. And
Well, what I learned here is that question absolutely broke Cameron's dick. So that's what I'm getting from this.
I really didn't need that mental picture.
You're welcome.
And you can too.
Won't you? All right.
Questions are not arguments. Even if we couldn't think of an answer why God wouldn't just create everyone in heaven, that is not an argument against God's existence. It's not an argument.
Okay, it's not, well, but still, if you can't come up with an answer, that still should be troubling.
Isn't this just kind of semantics also?
Yeah. And even if it's not being presented as an argument against God's existence, it's really more just an argument against your theology. Saying, like, even if there is a God, the way you're explaining it doesn't make sense because of questions like this that you do not have good answers to. So
yeah, if your solution doesn't answer a question, you need a better solution.
Yeah. So basically, this whole video could just be summarized as cope.
Yeah.
It's like all he's doing
against Christianity. Then we looked at 3 reasons God would have to create not only heaven, but heaven and earth. First, being able to choose to enter into a relationship with God adds so much value to the world. Second, the unthinkable good of Jesus' sacrifice on the cross is only possible if sin exists. And then third,
also define unthinkable good. Like,
yeah. It's kind of pissing me off how he's laying this out, kind of like it was a syllogism. It was not.
Yeah.
This is just the outline for what he just said.
Yeah, these aren't arguments. These are just all of these are just assertions, and his evidence for why these things are true are just Bible verses, which are just
Well, it
more
makes
assertions.
sense if you think about it. That would be his argument. Are you appealing to common sense, Cameron?
Yeah. Basically, his arguments or evidence or whatever is basically he's just quoting the Bible, which is just more assertions, or making analogies to things in nature that aren't actually helpful analogies.
Yeah.
Therefore, God. So,
in the same way that God was not forced to create only sight-based animals, God was not forced to create a world with only heaven-based goods.
That was the best he could do. I just realized how funny that is. When he puts it in a bullet point like that, you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, you're preparing for this? And then you got to the point where you're writing it out in this form, right? When it's the simplest that your bullshit is gonna look, this whole little episode. And you didn't catch it. You didn't see.
oh,
This is some crazy bullshit.
Yeah, because like in the moment, that just felt like, oh, this is just an analogy he's making to kind of support his greater point. But now that he's putting it in there, like, no, that just was his point.
Was the point.
That was fucking it. It's like, oh, my dude.
Metaphors are arguments, apparently. Questions or not.
It's like, look, but again, you say, well, God wasn't forced to just create people in heaven. Okay, he also wasn't forced to create people on earth. That's our fucking point. It's like, he even told us why he wasn't forced, because he said, yeah, you can build character in heaven. It's like, okay, that you're making our argument for us.
I'm sorry, I still can't get over it. He's got these highlighted terms. Sight-based animals is directly related to heaven-based goods. That's how that looks with this.
And
that makes no sense.
Oh, hold on.
I needed a good laugh. That was amazing.
Oh, and he has 386,000 subscribers.
He knows the game.
And and people generally consider him to be like one of the good apologists.
He knows how to oratorily polish a turd. I don't know if oratorily is a word, but
so what you're saying is he knows how to give oral to a turd. Is that
a bit?
a bit, just the tip.
I guess any way you polish a knob, he polishes a turd.
Yep.
So.
Oh. The only question is, does he swallow?
All right, guys, as usual, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This video was actually a lot of fun to think about.
Was it? Well, it seemed like you forced yourself through part of it.
Oh, hey, and suddenly our YouTube comments are working again.
Well, it's because Anarchy Fox showed up.
Yeah, I guess it was just like spooky BS and Ember's problem. I don't know, but
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So welcome, Fox. If you're just joining us, for some reason, like, you are the first YouTube comment that actually came through on our end. So congratulations. You are the first.
A good apologist. They do.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I was so enamored that it actually came through. I forgot to actually like pay attention and respond to what you were actually saying. So, but yeah,
I think they know their role. They know what their role is, and they aim to just give people enough confidence to stop asking questions. That is their job.
Yeah.
And the ones who do that the best, those are the good ones.
Yeah. Well, hey, you may be pregnant. But, I mean, sorry.
Bertuzzi's the father.
So I'm wondering if, like, because we were speculating how before, like, maybe why the YouTube comments were coming through. It's like, oh, they really cracking down on things we're saying, or like, oh, we don't want to get that getting out there. But I guess as the bots or whoever was actually listening to the shit that Bertuzzi was saying, it's like, these guys have a point. This is bullshit. So, but yeah. So I guess, like, yeah, BS, Spooky, Ember, anyone else, if you're still watching, hey, jump back on YouTube, leave some chats. We'd love to see it. But
so I don't know if you saw it, but basically Cameron was like, cited animals, therefore heaven-based goods.
Well, here, let's back him up to his. Yeah, let's just wrap it up here real quick for Fox. Doing it for you. because for some reason in my warped version of how things work, I think exposing you and subjecting you to more Cameron Bertuzzi is a way to say thank you.
That's
and
the
I
form of
appreciate you.
evangelicalness.
Yeah. There you go.
It doesn't actually lead to the conclusion that God should have created everyone in heaven. Like, that doesn't follow at all. To summarize,
right. But it does follow when you make actually good points. That is the conclusion you come to. So
questions are not arguments. Even if we couldn't think of an answer why God wouldn't just create everyone in heaven, that is not an argument against God's existence. It's not an argument against Christianity. Then we looked at 3 reasons God would have to create not only heaven, but heaven and earth. First, being able to choose to enter into a relationship with God adds so much value to the world. Second, the unthinkable good of Jesus.
Okay, so much, but the question is, does it add enough to justify its existence and then the existence of potentially going to hell? Because I could say, like, hey, like, I could take, like, a pile of dog shit, I could put a diamond in it. Yes, technically that diamond I put in there added to the value of that pile of dog shit. But then there's a question.
Pretty valuable.
But then, but that just raises the question.
Why the shit?
Why? Just why?
And it's
like you could have just had the diamond without the dog shit.
And I didn't notice it the first time, but it's weird that the loving relationship, being able to choose a loving relationship, it doesn't add value to you or to God, but to the world. It's just weird.
That is.
And he didn't really cover that exactly. That it's like this like cosmic scale of value that was added. So this is almost a new point.
Yeah. Well, see, fortunately, he provided none. Yeah. So.
Because assertions are arguments, questions are not.
Yep. Hey, and it's tilting windmill. It's like, why is everyone showing up right when we're wrapping up?
Somebody else's show just got out. That's probably what happened.
That's probably it. Yeah. Well, so go back and watch the rest, because, like, I can tell that you're going to find, just based on what we're seeing on screen right now, this is probably intriguing.
You'll be thoroughly unimpressed with what he had to say.
Jesus' sacrifice on the cross is only possible if sin exists. And then third...
Oh, so basically what you're telling me is if he wouldn't have created sin, he wouldn't have had to get sacrificed on a cross. That sounds like a win-win to me.
Yeah. But he didn't create sin, you see. He created the possibility of sin, and we created sin. Because we have
going back to
creative powers, apparently.
Yeah, going back to the analogy I made a while ago. So Windmill Fox, if you want to go back and watch it. That's like me saying, it's like, well, if I hadn't bought the poisonous food for my children, then I wouldn't have had the opportunity to show them how much I love them by eating it instead of them. Like, don't you see how not completely batshit insane that is? And why they should love me so very much? Ugh.
Completely it's a very sane thing to do.
Ooh. I am not familiar with the captive desk.
Neither am I.
Yeah, we're just capturing Christianity over here. So things are captive all over the place tonight.
Gotta catch it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the same way that God was not forced to create only sight-based animals, God was not forced to create a world with only heaven-based goods.
Yes, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But he spent like 4 minutes getting from point A to point B, and in between was bats. That apparently God didn't have to create, but did, so therefore goods in heaven.
Yeah, but going back to point one, you had to have that value add, and to prove that he had to create it this way. You notice how he also made bats. That's why he also had to create things the way they are now. Because I mean, I don't know what else I could add to that.
Because they couldn't both hear and see. But
even though we can, but
this is what happens when you try to go deeper with something that can't go deeper with.
Yeah, but see that feels like something I should ignore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, so mostly live reactions to shorts with a few regular panelists. Hey.
Interesting.
That sounds up our alley. I will have to check that out. Coulda. Yeah, can't be flooding the market with heaven-based goods because divine capitalism. Yeah, you'll get like there's inflation and
then you've got like your church subscription service where like you got a tithe, to keep getting the goods.
Man. All right, well let's push through here. We're almost done.
Animals. God was not forced to create a world with only heaven-based goods. All right, guys, as usual, thank you.
He wasn't forced to, but he still could have. And that's our question. So basically, our question is, why did God create things this way? And his answer is, well, he didn't have to create it differently.
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I know he didn't have to create it differently, but my question is just, why didn't he? I mean, I'm also assuming by extension, I'm assuming like he also didn't have to create it this way, right?
But that's also just an assertion that he didn't have to do anything in particular. Like based on what? Because this part's because he said so. Because it works best, so we can stop talking.
Pretty
this
much.
whole sepia tone thing he's got going on in this video was kind of bugging me. It looked like he was in an old-timey cologne ad the whole time.
All right. Well, speaking of like ads and stuff, I think all he's got left here is just like promotional stuff. So
some shit.
Yeah, I'm fine being done with.
Yep.
His shenanigans. So, all right. Well, man. So yeah, if for those of us just joining us recently, like I think we're probably just wrapping up. But yeah, if any of that seemed intriguing, please go back and watch and give us your thoughts. We also responded to Mr. B of Red Pen Logic explaining different theodicies or explaining different theodicies about the problem of evil and stuff. So that was
it appeared to be a big deal. He was using coffee for the demonstration, but that never went anywhere as white coffee.
But always remember, there's some liquid left over. So
the shit they'll say
yes.
like it's profound.
Yes, you will.
It's just amazing to me. Just like in the same way that God didn't have to create sighted animals, and he didn't have to create goods in heaven. Like, okay, I guess that's not really a point.
All right, this is cracking me up. Ode to apologetics, a new fragrance from poop. To me, it's the from poop that really sells it, because like you're starting like, oh, this is like make it sound like a real fragrance ad. It's like from poop.
For me to poop on.
Thank you, Fox. Oh, see the suffering of watching Cameron Bertuzzi led to the good of this.
Yeah, perseverance, and then we got character from the perseverance, and now we have hope.
Right? Therefore, God, because bats.
Isn't that what hope is for? Is to like feed the perseverance. So why did you want to persevere if you had no hope? Because you have to get character first before you can have the hope. I don't get it.
Yeah. But yes, yeah, you're correct, Windmill. This is like 6 years old, I think. So
yeah, he's less grizzled here.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, see, I got it right away. So, see, apparently, Tilting Windmill you haven't had your character developed enough through the suffering that is Cameron Bertuzzi, which we didn't have to do tonight, but we chose to. So, but because we didn't have to not do it,
right? Nobody made us choose.
Yeah, no one made us choose not to. Therefore, we had to choose to do it,
and
because
not do it.
Yeah, because you see, bats use echolocation, and there's still some liquid left over. So, I think that just seals it right there. Atheism defeated because of liquid.
Have you seen Cameron do his 2 recent videos on exorcisms and shit?
Oh, those I saw. Mind Shift. I think it was Mind Shift covering those. Yeah,
that he knows what he's doing. He knows that's garbage, and he knows they'll eat it up. I feel like he's not really trying anymore because he knows he doesn't have to.
Yeah, that could be. Yep. See, this is why, like, it's
when he says he believes in God anymore.
What's that?
I almost don't believe him that he believes in God anymore. Because like some of the stuff he'll cover, I'm like, if you thought this was real at all, you would not be handling it like this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, read it as odd apologetics. Yeah, that's one way to read that, I suppose. Yeah. Yep. That's valid. So, I mean, and you can't prove that like Fox didn't mean it that way, because like no one forced Fox to not mean it that way. So totally did. Yeah.
So that's why
the logic I learned tonight.
People couldn't be created in heaven.
Yeah. He believes in the grift. Yep, that's for sure.
Yep.
From where I'm sitting. Yeah. Man. Well, any other thoughts from you, Matt? I mean,
not really.
My only thoughts is this, like, she gets like the gender wrong here, but I think it just applies.
I hated her so much. It flames on the side of my face, heaving breath.
I'd also love just like in that one shot, like Yvette's just laying dead on the pool table, just in the background, like, yeah. But I think But really, my final response to both Cameron and Mr. B tonight, and I think this goes out to all the YouTube apologists out there.
You fucking people.
Yep. Yep.
And I have
you
no
see,
idea.
well, you see, it's probably because of the issue we were having earlier about the YouTube chats not showing up. The people who were watching left YouTube to watch it on Twitch, or at least some of them did. So we just weren't getting much comment.
Yeah,
in the chat.
we have two sets of number 1, basically.
Oh,
and 2 and 3.
So, congratulations. We appreciate you, Windmill. All right. Oh, and you agree with the memes, as it should be.
Okay.
Yep. That's one thing I found out about. Like, apparently, it's a neurodivergent thing. Like, memes are kind of a love language for us. So, all right. Well, let's see. I guess usual stuff. Like I said, like thanks for those who did interact tonight when you were able to. Yeah, please go back and watch later if you missed it. We had fun suffering through things, which was apparently necessary because Cameron Bertuzzi couldn't have made it another way because no one was forcing him to. So this is just how it had to be tonight. But yeah, let us know what you think later. And also, let's see, where is the thing I keep forgetting to put out? We can take suggestions if other people have, whether it's other videos you want us to react to, or topics you want to hear us talk about, other people you might want to hear us have on as guests. We still do guests every now and then. But yeah, or do you just have any other questions, comments, good jokes? You just really hate us and want to tell us off, but don't want to do it in the chat.
That would be fun.
Yeah, just we have an email address. You can just email us things, whatever you want. So
yeah, because pretty sure we genuinely don't care if you hate us.
If that's not apparent already. All right. So yeah, and then also speaking of watching us on Twitch or Facebook or whatever, yeah, wherever platform you enjoy watching us, yeah, please. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, whatever things, and share if you think other people might enjoy this as well. That's the thing. Like, for some reason, people seem to enjoy this when they watch it. So
we enjoy watching it.
Or, as always, if you think someone will hate it and you just really want them to have a bad day, share it with them too. We're in full support of a good spite share. So you can get behind that as well. Other than that, I had another fun video I put out over the weekend. It seems to be like, at least as far as our little short videos, this one seems to be one of the most watched so far, which isn't saying much, but yeah, it's got some good reactions about being moral without God and how I don't think the Christian arguments for how their system actually does have grounds for morality. Like, I don't really think it does, but anyway, so that sounds interesting. Yeah. Basically making the point, like anything like where Christianity says like, well, this is what morality is based in on according to our religion. Either they can actually point to like a real world consequence or reason why a thing is moral or not. And if that's the case, then, okay, well, the secular person can also point to that same reason. But if they don't have a real world reason or any actual evidence of why something is good or bad, then it's like, okay, then you don't actually have a grounding other than this is what our book says and we just believe it. It's like, that's not really grounding either. So, but I go into a little more detail and elaboration, about 17 minutes worth, I guess. All right. Oh, well, I enjoy your time here too, and mine.
Well, good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So one might say, woohoo. In fact. All right. So yeah, I think that's all I got. So take us out, Matt.
May your things and stuff be forever with your people.
See you next week. Hopefully the chat's working.
Bye.